Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. What the hell are you starting the show with?
Oh, I didn't realize I was sharing. Whoops, that could have been bad.
That looked like some splitter gun.
Thank goodness it was only that Chrome tab. Okay.
Jesus H. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma as usual. Not long from now, we will have Diego Mendoza, also known as number 29, back on the show. We're going to talk about everything from Gio-Gate right on through the Balagun, everything he's heard and everything he might know. You know, he'll let us know. The turd in the background says, "Welcome back to the Straight Red Card. The first big roster call-up in the Anthony Huston's career. Big call-ups, and I prepped Pulisic with all his interview answers. Could you tell? Derek has big balls." We appreciate that, the turd, as always. Yeah, so lots of...
Lee Hackshaw never answers his questions.
No, well, that happens to some.
God. Guys, if Lee has any more bangers like the one we watched prior, man, tag us in those, man. Those are great.
So before we get to the show, we got a lot to cover, and we are going to, of course, talk about the Nations League roster as well. And Diego's going to join us for all this. Well, as long as he has time to. Apparently, he lost his phone, and that's not good. So, I mean, he'll be joining us by other ways. But we got here, what is this? Oh, we got more bingo for tonight. We got more bingo talk.
Go to straight_red. It's one of the last things I retweeted.
Okay. Yeah, so how many are there now?
There's 4. It's the same 4 from last week, but just in case you guys need to update your bingo cards.
Okay. I probably shouldn't look at that. That triggered me. I want to talk about several things now all of a sudden. Speaking of jizz talk,
Jesus, cheating already.
I was watching a clipper on YouTube of the Joe Rogan show, and I guess he got into this big discussion about the biggest gangbang that ever happened, which was he called it the Houston 500, but he said it turned out to be the 600. And I was just thinking, I mean, okay, that's a lot of people. Did they just dip and dip out? Or did they have to?
So Mike Diego's handle is 29?
No, I mean, I'm just asking, does that count? You dip in, you do a few strokes, you dip out without, finishing. Does that count as being part?
There's no way.
I mean, that doesn't sound like something I'd like to watch, frankly. That doesn't sound very exciting. It's just a bunch of random dudes standing in a 600-man line, dipping in and dipping out.
Think about it, Derek. You could partake in a Guinness Book of World Record.
I guess, but I don't know if you consider that really I guess
that's a resume builder, if anything. That's going on mine, man. I see on extracurricular activity you were in the world's largest gangbang.
Oh, yeah, that'd be all over my resume, absolutely. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. And then they talked about Annabelle Chang, or Chong, I don't know what her name is, but apparently back in the 90s, she did one at 251, which is a little more reasonable than 600, but they're both pretty gross. And, I just wonder what technicality there is for Guinness. Do the men have to ejaculate? Is that what counts? I mean, and of course, they're going to do it outside of the lady because that would be gross to have 600 ejaculations because no one would want to get out inside of that after like 4 of them, maybe 3, maybe 2. I don't know. Depends how squeamish you are.
We might be the old people in the room talking about gangbangs. We just don't quite understand it, I guess.
No, never been a part of one like that at all. So anyhow, there's that. Been a part of an orgy once, but all right. Won't get into that. We will talk about, can you bring up, so I had for dinner tonight, I don't know what you had, but I had those awesome White Castle. I had the spicy ones, the chicken rings. But one thing that annoys me on the bag for both the regular original and the spicy is fun to eat. Fuck you. What am I, 4? Do I need to fucking
You are
have
eating
fun?
a chicken ring. Reheatable chicken ring. You might be 4.
I know, but I'm not having fun. I'm eating. I'm replenishing. I'm not having fun. It's like that stupid, those stupid generic Coke cans that used to have like on it. They'd have like, it's refreshing, satisfying, and cold. Cold? That's if the motherfucker put it in the fridge, it's cold. But if it's not in the fridge, it's not cold. That's assuming a lot to put cold on the can. The can doesn't come cold. You got to put it in the fucking refrigerator and make it cold.
It's made with white meat chicken, real chicken breast and rib meat. I wonder what else makes the other 80% of that chicken in there.
I don't know, but they're fantastic. The spicy ones are great, but I don't need to have fun.
I wish they spice. It spice up your life, Derek.
I guess are they easy to open? It also says that.
Well,
I don't know.
Easy.
Not really.
It's easy to open, but look at it. You like lose 2-3 inches of the bag.
Yeah, it's a lot of bag.
Way low down. It's really low down, man.
Well, they had to fit the logo on, right?
Yeah, but they could have put it up here.
No, they had to fit Fun to Eat on it too.
Well, go through the White Castle logo or Fun to Eat. Which one would you take off?
Well, I definitely take Fun to Eat off because that's really kind of talking down to people. Oh, you want to have something fun to eat?
For her pleasure.
Can't escape the orgy talk, fellas. No, we can't. Okay, so yeah, White Castle, please take that off. That would be nice. So we're going to bring Diego into the discussion now, and welcome to our world as we kick this night off and start talking about all kinds of shit that Brett has lined up for us.
Got plenty of time today.
Some shit I don't even know about. So, all right, let's bring them on. Oh shit! Who ran off with Diego? It's Diego's chair. Welcome to the show, Diego.
Chair stream.
He's probably looking for his phone. No, there's probably no shitting about that. He did lose his phone. And if I lost my phone, that would send me into a little bit of a panic. I don't know about you, Brett.
Oh, speaking of a little bit of a panic, today I took my daughter to gymnastics, and at the end of it, all the kids come running back. They're like, "Daddy or Mommy," or whoever's there with them.
Yeah.
And Charlie's almost always the freaking first one out, up there, back to me.
Charlie's a gal, by the way, for people
correct, that's
wondering.
my daughter. And all the kids come back running around, and I'm looking around, and I don't see Charlie anywhere. And about 30 minutes apart, she's like, "I gotta go to the bathroom." I'm like, go ahead and go to the bathroom. Don't tell me. And this is like the first time I didn't actually walk her to the bathroom. So I'm thinking, like, is she still in the bathroom? Did somebody take her? Because I couldn't see her anywhere.
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom, and there's one door locked. I'm like, yeah, there's somebody else maybe in there. I went back out to look, and she's hobbling back from the back of the gymnastics area. I'm like, oh, thank Christ. Oh, my goodness. That gave me a heart attack. Because, like,
sure. Yeah, there are all kinds
one
of
time I didn't actually walk her back
there.
there. Yeah. So she hurt herself. She got a cut on her toe from jumping on some trampolines.
And then just isolated, I guess.
Then she came home and she ended up stubbing that toe. Oh, man, I've never seen her toe bleed so much. I laughed.
All right. Well, it's good. She needs to be humbled a little. Hey, Diego, we already introduced you. We introduced you.
Let's start out. Did y'all not see that I wasn't in the fucking lobby?
I know we did. So we introduced your chair.
Chair stream. We just thought we'd do a chair stream.
Should we do it again?
Did you find your phone? Is that yours? Oh, good God. Are you not relieved now?
Dude, I almost had a panic attack.
No shit. I would too.
I have 3 of them, so it's fine.
All your shit is on your phone, right? So your phone's out there
This was
somewhere.
just wink, wink face. This was the important phone. Wink, wink face.
Yeah, I bet. I would hate to lose my phone. In fact, I thought I've lost my phone before, and it just ended up at the bottom of my car. And I found it on. But
makes sense. Let me turn off. I'm watching March Madness. Let me turn it off.
March Madness.
Yeah. Hey, the only time I went to Indiana, by the way, was for the March Madness final.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, same shit, right?
Right.
It was Duke in the final, I think. Was it Duke? Or it was Gonzaga. Gonzaga against, I don't know, but I had money on Gonzaga and I lost, and so.
Yeah, Indianapolis is a pretty nice place.
I mean, it's sure, whatever. Traffic stinks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they've been fucking around with 465 so long. I
mean, every major highway cuts through Indianapolis, so
yeah.
it's always going to kind of suck.
Let's see what I like pulling up the comments. What's going on here?
Oh, you know what? I need to pull up the comments. I'm not even doing the comments. So there we go.
Adam Wiggins says Claudio stole your phone.
Yo, let's get into it, man. Let's
do it.
Jesse
Let's
says,
do it.
That's the phone which McKinney's nudes are in, right?
No, this is the phone where Bulligan's agent's on my phone.
Oh,
Chris Gary, you haven't won bingo already, have you?
no,
No, there's no chance.
All right.
Mexicans love bingo. They just be playing that shit religiously.
All right, we should be getting an onslaught of Mexican listeners soon then, because we do bingo every week.
That's why we have such a diverse audience here.
He's almost done. Okay.
Hey, am I closer like how you wanted me, or how do you want me?
You're good.
That looks good. That
Okay.
looks real good. Yeah, right there.
All right, cool.
Your head's never going to be as big as mine. I wouldn't worry about that though.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Let's do it. Let's
I get my
start
double
out.
cup.
Hey, you know what? Let's start out with the Balgun shit, right?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yeah, let's
Let me
do
grab
that.
We're going out of order, but that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's go in order. I mean, fuck it. Let's go out of order. We're chaotic.
Yeah.
Chaotic neutral.
So Tact was the first one I saw that posted this, saying that he didn't make the English roster, and then he posted this on Instagram. In life.
Now, pull up my tweet from yesterday.
Whoa.
Now, pull up my tweet from yesterday.
Oh, that's gonna take some effort here.
In
Yeah, go where
life.
you appreciate it. Okay, so 29.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'll do it a different way. There you go.
Go to my tweet from yesterday.
You tweet a lot, so not as much as me, but
You want me to just DM you the tweet directly, or go to tweets?
Sure.
You could read it.
Nah. You can just go all the way to. Nah, you're gonna go through a lot of. You gotta put out my whole Twitter feed out there, y'all.
Make sure
I'm
you
gonna send it to
subscribe.
I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, that'll work too.
I'm gonna send it to you. Hold on.
Don't you think, Brett, after all the rumors were that Balogun was going to get called up to this roster just so they could make him feel wanted, he still didn't get called up. And now
Shocking.
Balogun is looking like, hey, motherfuckers, I'm going where I am appreciated, which we have. American fans have been.
Hopefully not to the English U21s.
All right, it's in your DMs.
No.
It's
Waiting
in
for it
your
to pop
DMs.
up here. Right on.
It's in your DMs.
Right
Now, compare that to Balogun's story. This was yesterday, maybe like almost 2 days ago.
All right, sharing.
It's a crazy fucking tweet, by the way.
He like a girl.
Mr. 29, how realistic is it to ask Balogun in March?
You say he like a girl who can't leave a boy alone, who don't want her back. But the boy messes with her head at times. But waiting for her is someone who is ready to give her the world. But she's sold on the boy who don't love her back. I did read this.
I did too.
I saw it 2 days ago.
All right, so I've known for weeks he wasn't gonna get called up to this English side. But there was a meeting, right? And everyone knew about this meeting. Southgate finally formally met with Balogun's entourage to talk about his future. That's what I mean by playing with his head, right?
Yeah, right.
He was under the impression that he was about to make his first senior appearance this FIFA weekend, this FIFA week. Shit changed.
Yeah.
Like the energy between the English Federation and Balogun's team just drifted over the past couple of weeks. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why, but they were under the impression they were going to be there in March, and now they're not.
So
this started about weeks ago. This started weeks ago.
You're saying here that he's still sold on England, which who I'm guessing is the boy in this situation.
He's still sold on that English dream because that's what he's known his whole life. You know,
Sure.
like he born in New York, he moved when he was 2 years old. He's sold on that English dream, but I think he's starting to see that English dream, that's all it is. It's a dream, and then not a reality.
if he's the girl in the circumstances, his latest tweet seems to indicate he's ready to go where he's appreciated, right?
Listen, if it's gonna happen, the federation has to hire a sporting director like yesterday and go get this man, because the door is open for him to commit to either Nigeria or the United States. I don't really think Nigeria right now is in the picture, just because they have so much talent up there. It's the same situation with England. They have the best forward in the world right now besides Holland. So that's probably out the picture. If he wants to be the face of a national team, it's the United States. And if he wants to be a superstar, it's the United States, because he will literally be the face of the 2026 World Cup.
He certainly will. There's a lot more money as far as advertising money and sponsor money if you pick the U.S. or England. Not as much in Nigeria, unfortunately.
But England's just not realistic right now, and they're just playing with him because, like I said, and like many speculated, there was a meeting. Southgate did say, yo, like, yeah, I want you to be a part of the team. And all of a sudden, the past couple of weeks, it's been quiet. It's just been real quiet. And so that's why there's really an opportunity for the U.S. to go get him, like go grab him. And if the U.S. doesn't move on it, maybe England backtracks on with what's going on right now, and they might end up cap tying him in the summer. Well, but as of now, the door is very much open as it's ever been.
So when Hudson was asked about this in the last
we have an
interview,
Englishman running our team right now.
He was hinted at something because something was going on.
Hudson saying, I'm in regular contact with Balogun's people, and I can't tell you what we're talking about.
He is, but Hudson isn't enough right now. I'm just sorry, he's not. You think this team wants to commit to an assistant coach that's interim right now? No,
his
team doesn't want to do that. His team does not want to do that. They want to commit to a team with a project, and you don't have a project without a director or a head coach.
It's a great transition of topic here. Let me find where it's at.
You got something?
Oh, good Lord. I'm going to pull it up again, I guess.
You got your naked pictures coming up again, Brett?
They're everywhere.
Somebody says that Bailey Herrera says he genuinely thinks that he'll go to Nigeria. I don't think so. I really don't. Nigeria is also loaded, but also as far as getting advertising dollars, a shoe deal, whatever, he's going to have a bigger chance of making that happen if he's playing for England or the United States.
Hey, look, I don't think he answered. I just texted him like 20 minutes ago. I was going to get him. I told him that I was going to do this thing tonight. I said I might call him. He said if I'm up, I'll answer. I was like, is there anything I can't ask you? And he just said, nah, just call me. He's like, if I'm up, fuck it. What do you want to talk about? I just said I'm going to say how he's feeling. What's his tweet about? He already told me what his tweet about. He already told me what his tweet was about, and he already told me how the camp feels. But I was like, I might call you on this podcast.
Oh, thank God it's blurry.
Nah, but
all right.
I got connected to his entourage about a month ago.
Yeah, it's about 11 p.m. in England right now.
It's 5-hour window, man.
That's not what to be answering.
9. It's gonna be like closer to like 2, 1 or 2.
But
well, he's probably a party, agents.
Anyways, you're saying that Hudson's not gonna be able to pull Balogun over. We need somebody who can pull him over.
I don't think Hudson by himself can do it. He's an assistant coach who's just a placeholder. I don't think he can do it. But that's why the federation really needs to see this opportunity that's opened up for them. And it's open. You understand? It's open as it's ever been for them.
It's not going to be Hudson. So that's for sure. We know that. Yeah. So they need to hire fucking somebody, but nobody wants the sporting director job because a bunch of nimrods named Sportsology are doing the hiring, and nobody wants to talk to those fucks.
Yo, they got to hire Henry.
So I got it pulled up here,
Yeah, so
hire Henry. Hire Henry because the players will respect them, and you can't control them as a federation because who the fuck is the U.S. Federation if they're Henry?
Yeah.
That would scare the fuck out of
it's possible that might be his downfall.
That might be the reason they don't get him.
They saw what happened to Klinsmann.
That might be the reason they don't get him.
Yep, exactly. He's too scary and too independent. Although, based on his coaching career so far, I don't know how much of a record he has to run on, but he does have the respect as a player.
He basically jump-started the career from Mihailovic again. He was floundering at Chicago because Chicago was Chicago. He went to Montreal, and all of a sudden, bam! He's off to Europe.
Sources have told me it's...
Hey, I'm going to be honest. If y'all hired Henry, y'all could get him. Y'all could get this player. 1,000%.
Oh, 1,000%. I'm sure.
1,000%.
I mean...
The federation needs to see long-term. I don't know what they're doing right now, but they need to see long-term. Like, listen, this kid can be the future of our team. Right now, we just get Henry. And you know what? There's a lot of talk about, his club record isn't appealing. He's never been held been given a fair hand at any of his clubs ever. Just look at the history of his stints at the club. National team is way different. I think Henry at the U.S. national team would excel. It's way different than club. Like,
yeah.
And if the federation sees that, this Henry guy can really go get us this superstar that will be the face of our team for the next 10 years, let's do it. You do it for that reason. You do it for that reason alone. I'm sorry. Give Henry a year. Let him do the summer tournaments. You guys already qualified for the World Cup. It's not like
yeah.
I think you do it. I think if Henry's really that open, I think you do it. You hire him and you let him go recruit Fuller.
Well, certainly Henry is making a push for himself. So we'll see how that goes. Although we've already mentioned it, and it's probably true, that would scare the shit out of the people at U.S. Soccer, because that's a guy who's independent, doesn't fucking suffer fools easily, and doesn't want to put up with much bullshit and a clown show, which we've been dealing with for, well, a long time. It's been a clown show. So Balogun will not come. Ferreira is better. Oh, come on, Greg. Come on, Greg. Ridiculous.
Enough of that.
Ridiculous.
It's scenario.
Man, the English Federation really hold him this past today. They really had this man convinced that, yes, pick us. You're going to be there in March. You're playing so well. We see it. We notice it. We watch you play every game. Just for them to kind of ghost him the past couple of weeks and just be like, we're going to go with someone else.
Yeah, it's almost like you're saying that the coach, the manager, Southgate, met with him, pulled down his pants, fondled him, got him hard and said, that's it. See ya.
You know what?
Just a fluff.
That was valid because there was other people on U.S. Twitter that knew about the meeting. Like that was a real thing. That actually happened. Like everyone knew that though. Like a lot of people knew about that meeting.
Yeah.
But what people don't know is that as of late, they kind of got cold feet on him for whatever reason. Maybe they still wanted him U21s. I don't know. I don't know the reason. Like I don't know why they ended up getting cold feet, but they got cold feet. He's not on this camp. And he took it very personal. Obviously, his Instagram story, he took it very fucking personal.
I think Hudson went out there and said, Southgate, you guys have plenty of quality players. Let us have this one, please.
So, yeah, he took it very personal, and his feelings were hurt. Like I said, I talked to Jibbs, which is he works for the agency, but he's more of his right-hand man. He's more of like Fuller's right-hand man. And like I said, I was connected to him about a month ago, and I just talked to him like casually just about different things. Not always about. Here's the thing: I don't always talk to this guy about following. He's just something we can talk about, right? I have the privilege to talk about him, but from their team's perspective, like the way their team sees it and how they feel about it, they feel like really like betrayed. Like, damn, you guys came and met with us. You promised us these things, and none of those promises came true. So it's if you guys really want me to go commit to another nation, I will, because you guys are fucking with me at this point. So. Right. He's pretty hurt. He's pretty hurt. And this is from his right-hand man. This isn't bullshit. People can choose to believe it or not. I really don't give a fuck. I don't really have to prove myself at this point. This is from his right-hand man. He feels hurt. He feels betrayed. And the door is open for the U.S. national team to get him this summer.
Chris Fairburn says, I also believe Henry's talks some major BS about some of our star players and commentating. I didn't take what Henry said that harshly. When he said that he, basically Pulisic needs to grab the bull by the horns, he might have said it in a way that you didn't like, but that's basically what he was saying. And I think that's true. Pulisic does need to grab the bull by the horns. When I was there, I watched it live. I was not that offended by it when he said it. So, and I don't think Pulisic would be either. I think
he's also said some really nice things about Pulisic too.
Yeah.
Prior to those negative things, though.
Now go back to Balogun's. Can we go back to Balogun's?
Let's go. Let's talk about him.
His tweet from today.
Yeah.
After not being called up.
It's personal.
We had it flashed up there.
That tweet is very personal.
Dude, that tweet tells a story. I mean, it's basically saying, I'm moving on. That's what it says. If you got that letter in the mail from some gal that you were pursuing, but you were kind of fucking her over, you go, okay, she's done. She's finally had it with me. It's over. In life, go where you're appreciated. Hell yeah. I'm going somewhere else where I'm appreciated. Fuck you. Goodbye. Gareth Southgate. Goodbye, England.
That's what it was. You got it. Like that's why I tweeted that yesterday. I was like, listen, English Federation is just fucking with him. I knew for 2 weeks now he wasn't going to be on this roster. About a month ago, though, the word was 1,000%. Let me put this on record. A month ago, he was definitely in the plans for the call-up today. 1,000%. 1,000%. A month ago.
People are making fun of the word I use, gal.
About 2 weeks ago, that shit changed. They shit changed about 2 weeks ago. I don't know why, but shit changed. Yeah. And today it came out, and he felt some type of way. And you know what? I wouldn't put it past him to still wait on England just because he's in love with the country and he really wants to play with them. But it seems like he's finally starting to realize that, man, I'm about to come to the age where I got to be playing first team level at the national team. Yeah, and like you can't keep playing U21 when you're supposed to be this star striker. You just can't.
You're leading league in goal scoring. I mean,
and you're playing for
U21. That's silly.
And that is you don't do that. Like there's 18 and 19-year-old strikers playing first team at the national level.
Come on.
He's at the top of the table. I don't believe he's leading.
He's up there with Mbappe, I believe.
He's right behind Mbappe.
Okay, well, it's still he's still top 2, and he's playing U21.
Yeah.
And the only country you would do that is literally England because of Kane.
Yeah. Brett's beard is getting sharper and sharper because that's what he uses to cut his turkey. Brett's beard is on point.
Now,
okay.
Chris Scary says, has anybody seen Coach Beard and Brett in the same place? Now, I can tell you I'm not Coach Beard because I wouldn't have gone on to Alexi Lawless's podcast and criticized the toxic fandom of the United States.
Yeah, that was pretty lame.
Which is funny. Let me find out where you at. Toxic fandoms.
That's just fucking lame. It's fucking lame. I put out a tweet that said that was lame. And people agree with me. If you criticize Berhalter, now all of a sudden you are a toxic fan.
We say that Ferreira shouldn't be going to the World Cup. There's other strikers who are better at this point that aren't making it, or we're saying Long shouldn't be on the roster, and we're toxic. But in the streets of Naples,
someone in the comments is saying that we shouldn't be airing Flo's feelings out. He posted that Instagram. That was
Jake.
He did that.
Jake said that earlier.
Who's Jake?
It's called soccer.
He took
Jake. Come on.
Ballroom took it to Instagram and decided to put that story out there for the world to see.
No, Florence already said his
started
piece.
That. This dialogue is going on because he decided to go on Instagram and tweet that and post that today. That's because of him.
Yeah.
And listen, I like I said, I texted Jibs today. I said, listen, bro, I'm gonna go on podcast. I might talk about it. I might call you. He said, bro, do your thing. Just keep what really needs to keep confidential, and you're good, bro. You ain't got no problems here. If you want to call me, you can call me. I might not answer. I might answer. So, I said, I'm not saying nothing I'm not supposed to.
No, he's basically saying that he was saying originally that the emotions and the interactions between Flo and his agent should probably be kept behind closed doors. Is what he's saying at this point. If his,
I don't think you said anything that
we didn't say anything crazy.
Exposed anything.
I'm not allowed to speak on what I can't speak about. I'm not.
Yeah,
but exactly. I did tell him I might call him. He said I might answer. I might not. Don't get to. I said I'm gonna call you.
Jake, did you actually see this?
They really want to know what's up. And he said, if I might answer, but I might not. I'll hit you tomorrow if I don't.
Jake says, ever since I took that picture with a dead guy at work, you guys have been on me.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Jake, you never replied to that tweet. I didn't know if you actually saw that.
That was
great, man.
That was good.
Diego, just a little bit of context. I don't know if you saw, but we found a meme of a bunch of people taking a selfie around somebody who they thought was asleep but turned out to be dead. And the guy up front and center next to the guy looked just like Jake from It's Called Soccer.
It's another show.
Yeah.
It's another show. A friend show.
When will people get my age right? 27 is so disrespectful.
Well, how old are you?
25.
You're only 3 years older than Derek.
There's not a whole lot of difference between 25 and 27. I gotta tell
but it's like if you just met Weston and you said he's 27, he'd get so offended he's 24. It's 2-3 years is a lot.
It
It's a great
sounds
point.
like
You guys
it.
grew up playing together. I mean, you have to imagine that they're probably
It sounds like it. It does sound like that, Diego. Until you're 50, okay, and then you.
50's the new 40.
Ooh, Greg's not
Is
your
it?
biggest. Greg's not your fan here.
Derek, 50's the new 40.
All right.
Diego looks
Thank you.
31.
I look 31. Fuck. It's because I haven't shaved. I haven't shaved. I'm gonna shave tomorrow, man.
That's our problem too. We haven't shaved either.
We never.
Is it? I think y'all's age is just y'all's problem.
Okay, let's go to Pulisic. Can we go to Pulisic's comments today?
I've got so much other things to cover here.
You know, the way this is going, we're not going to get through any of this shit.
I know we won't. This is how it usually goes, Derek.
What are we talking about?
Well,
wait, what was he trying to skip over?
All of it. He's skipping everything.
No, I'm not trying to skip over anything because I don't know.
You're trying to take control. You're trying to take control of the show.
I don't know what Brett's got lined up.
Come on.
I just wanted him to get to the Pulisic clip because it mentioned some of the things we've already talked about today.
Diego, you've seen our nice, fancy U.S. men's national team jerseys that we wore to the World Cup, correct?
No.
Probably for the better. But apparently there are leaks of the new home jerseys, and I'm not sure if these are true leaks.
Dude, someone sent me a picture last night, like at 11 p.m. It was a picture of Weston's jersey they live in LA. It was a picture of Weston's jersey at the rack at whatever store they were at. They were like, should I cop or not? And I said, get that ugly ass jersey on my phone.
Yeah.
That jersey that current jersey you guys have is so ugly. I hope there's a new jersey coming this summer.
This is the new jersey, apparently.
This is going to be the next one. Yep. It's the Smurf. It's the Smurf Spooge jersey.
Oh my.
Apparently.
Oh my.
Yeah. So Chris Gary says, did a Smurf jizz on that kit? Great job, Nike. Pieces of shit.
Yeah, that
and
just
I
looks
responded
like
with Papa Smurf, you fiend.
Yeah, it
just
just
fiend, though.
Like somebody's pen got broken and they just squirted it all over the jersey.
Yeah,
you know?
This is the worst.
That's what it looks like. It's just horrible. And then some of the dots are darker blue than the smaller dots. It just
more ink, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. And what's up with the textured look to it? I guess I don't know what that's about.
That's not so bad. It's just the spooge.
I'm just saying.
Is it the men's jersey, not the women's jersey?
Is it so bad to have a nice, clean, like just sleek jersey, like an all white, and then
like how every other national team has?
Yeah, exactly. Why do we got to go above and beyond awkwardness here? What are the 4 stars for? What are the 4 stars for there?
I'm sure it's CONCACAF Champions League. Yeah.
Now there's only one Champions League winner. We have more Gold Cups than that. Have there always been 4 stars there? I don't know. It tells you how long it's been since I bought a jersey.
No, we've won more than one CONCACAF champion. Gold Cup.
Yeah,
that's for the Gold Cup.
We've won more than Cups. Oh, there we go. That's it. Let's see. Our 4 World Cups. Okay, yeah, it's a women's World Cup.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said that should be the men's, not the women's.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But that should be the men's, not the women's.
Yeah.
If that was the men's jersey, that'd be cool.
It's definitely better than the shit that we got.
The shit you have right now, dude, can I say something?
Yeah,
I rejected a World Cup worn jersey from the U.S. national from West because it's fucking ugly.
Horrible.
Fugly is what we used to call it.
He said, bro, I have an extra one. You want it? I said, yo, no thanks. That shit is ugly. He just laughed. He said, I would give it to my mom then. I said, cool. He already gave the first one he wore to his mom. This is so terrible, man. It's so bad. It's so ugly.
We got called out today on Twitter, Derek. U.S. men's national team thoughts says, who's watching Football Americas live? You must watch it tonight.
Well,
Chris Gary says Thursdays for Straight Red. And then Pragmatic U.S. men's national team says, yikes, you need to find better content, my guy.
Well, yeah, I noticed they were on tonight. Nothing we can do about it. I'll have to
Pragmatic.
I'll have to talk to Tact to talk to Herc. So we don't do this anymore. But everybody's doing it tonight because everybody's finally covering the whole Pulisic interview, which we're going to get to eventually. And other things. So you got, okay. Mr. Zach, please change your username. I have a feeling several people would misread it. Therapist
Zach.
Yeah, but it's got, that's unfortunate. It's got rape. rapist in it. Yeah.
I'll take the rapist for 300.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good.
So some of the Chelsea Twitter handles or whatever gave Gaga some glowing tweets saying he maintains a strict daily regimen. Bed by 10 p.m. every night, raising 7 a.m. at the latest. He's generally is one of the first players in the complex each day and one of the last to leave. That's good to hear. Keep it going.
There is no problems with Gio Reyna like at all. Like, what's up with that?
We're
All right,
getting to that, apparently.
we'll skip the U.S. National League. We'll come that last. Let's just jump right into the. Let's get rid of that because we already covered that one. All right, let's jump right into the Gio stuff, I guess.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. First things first. I gotta share.
I thought you were about to say that shit.
I do. Oh. Okay. So you're telling me you haven't seen this yet, Diego, right?
What are we looking at?
It's Pulisic getting no, never mind. It's Pulisic doing an interview.
No, I haven't seen it.
All right.
Go ahead.
For me, it's an interesting.
I'm watching it on my phone.
Because, like you said, I'm not here to appoint the next manager. It's not my job. Whoever it is, I'm going to play and give 100%, and that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, in my opinion, it's everything that happened with Greg. First of all, is I think handled in an extremely childish manner. I think we all have seen what's been going on.
I got to pause it real quick, otherwise we're going to get hit. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, he already used the word childish. Everything was handled by. So the question is, who the fuck is he talking about? Is he talking about the Reynas? Is he talking about U.S. soccer? I don't know, because he never really says who was childish. Because if you're going to call Reyna's parents childish, don't you have to go play with Gio down the road?
Listen, I don't know if I'm breaking news here or not. Actually, I spoke about it a lot. Christian Pulisic does not have a good relationship with Greg. That's 1,000% a fact. I'm allowed to say this. He does not have a good relationship with Greg. He does not.
Because it's funny, because everybody who watched this that tends to have the same, opposite opinion of a lot of us have used this to say, well, I guess not all European players dislike Greg.
Let me stop that there. Christian Pulisic does not have a good relationship with Greg.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it a lot of with the body language when he gets subbed off or whenever was the first window against El Salvador or Canada or whatever game it was. He came the presser. He's like, we have to try new things. This just isn't working.
You don't tell your Captain America we have to try new things. You don't do that. I'm sorry, you don't. You run with him. You run with him 90 minutes unless you're winning, unless he's hurt. You just have to run with your guy. And so,
I mean, Derek, how many times have you watched Pulisic when he got subbed off, run off, almost in his term, a childish temper tantrum, just like storming off, yeah, because he doesn't want to leave the field. Is what I'm getting to in that point. But
he's talking childish here, and I think I'm just trying to stick to this. It's who is he referring to as being childish? So, is it Greg? Is it U.S. Soccer? Is it the Reynas? Well, he never really says it. Is he just saying all of it's childish? Because if you rewind it back and listen to it, you really don't know who the fuck he's talking about.
So wait, Pulisic's the one that said we need to try new things?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying Greg was trying new things about something Christian.
Pulisic told Pulisic told the presser that he's like, hey, this just isn't working. We got to try new things.
Oh, I thought you were saying Greg was pulling him out to say we got to try new things. No. I was like, that's disrespectful. Well, that's even more disrespectful. That's Pulisic saying like, "Yo, your shit's not working." That makes my case even better. So.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So the beginning of this starts off with him talking about needing, regardless of who's coaching, whether it's a new manager or whatever, that he's going to give it 100%. It doesn't matter if it's Greg or it doesn't matter if it's Hudson. It doesn't matter if it's whatever. He's gonna show up every day and bust his butt.
Yeah, but he kind of be a little unmotivated if it was Greg because, again, he doesn't like Greg. Newsflash to people, he doesn't like Greg. I'm allowed to say this. He doesn't fucking like Greg. I'm sorry.
Chris Gates for $1.99 says 29 is here to restore order to the U.S. men's national team community.
Yo, check this out. I've been MIA from the U.S. men's national team Twitter for like a month and a half. I just been chilling, living my life. But
Yeah.
shit's been popping as of late, and I was being asked to come back from the dead, so I came back.
So
Well, yeah.
in this interview,
Brett,
Go
hold
ahead.
on.
Go ahead.
So if we go back to the beginning of this, and you said that people are using this video to represent that Pulisic does want Berhalter back. Where am I supposed to be hearing that part?
It's the part when he talks about how what's happened to Greg is unfortunate and
well, let's play it.
Stuff like that. Yeah,
I want to hear this.
For me, it's an interesting one because, like you said, I'm not here to appoint the next manager. It's not my job. Whoever it is, I'm going to play and give 100%, and that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, in my opinion, it's everything that happened with Greg. First of all, is I think handled in an extremely childish manner. I think we all have seen what's been going on. I think it's childish. It's youth soccer. People complaining about playing time.
That sounds like the Reynas. That sounds like he's criticizing the Reynas there for criticizing.
Yeah, he is on that. He is on that part, but he's just saying in general it's childish.
Well, and then that's the thing. Most of us can agree that the whole issue behind the investigation was incredibly childish. It was a bunch of parents who had hurt feelings, and they escalated it to a point that it shouldn't have been escalated to.
He still doesn't like Greg. Like, he doesn't like Greg. Like,
I mean, he's not going to say that here.
He's not going to say that, but you know what? You can't just throw Greg under the bus. Guess what? Let me throw in a part about the Reynas, about the playing time stuff, just so I can even the playing fields.
Well,
he's
okay.
Yeah,
he's answering the questions really delicately. That's
so.
How I see it.
Yeah. Real quick, Nate gave $4.99. No chat at all. Nate, if you want to put something in there, put in the chat. I will pull you back up. I don't know if you meant to just give us $5 for nothing, but we appreciate that.
Thank you, Nate.
So I stopped it here on purpose because he talks about how it's childish and how it's youth soccer. It's youth soccer to complain about playing time, right?
Yes.
Right? That's what he said, right? Yeah.
Right.
So
it seems like a nick at the Reynas.
Let's not forget this. Christian Pulisic's dad likes tweet criticizing Tuchel, Mason Mount, and Havertz after Chelsea lost to Leeds as his son starts match on the pitch.
So you're basically saying, yeah, his dad does the same shit.
They did the same thing, but to a lesser degree. Now, of course, the way I described it, because a bunch of people brought this up, it's like it's not the same thing. I'm like, well, it is the same thing, but no. Here it is. Pulisic's dad's like talking to Claudio. He's like, yeah, dude, my son wasn't getting playing time, so I like to tweet pointing that out. And Claudio's like, you like to tweet? Hold my beer. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes, and yeah, what the Reynas did was incredibly worse.
Yeah, 100 times worse.
It wasn't a tweet. It's way worse than anything McKennie's dad has ever done. And they're going to pay for it.
Let's not mention McKennie's dad, please.
Well, sorry.
Dude, there was a photo that went around Twitter of McKennie's dad and Berhalter.
We've talked about that so much time. He was like saying this. Yeah, he was like praising Greg, right, in that tweet or whatever.
He wasn't praising him in the September or whatever the Nashville was. His dad called him out on that one.
The point is, and Diego's brought this up, they do not have a close relationship. Yeah. All right, let's play the rest of this.
Quick buddy to buddy,
Yeah.
I don't want to go too far into that, but that's what we'll say. I think Greg has been extremely unfortunate in the position to get even into the position he is now. Do I feel like we should just wait and I don't think it's necessary because I don't feel we're in a phase like we were after not qualifying.
So here is the point where he starts branching off into the point of this whole conversation.
I'm not getting this point.
Pulisic doesn't want to wait another year for a manager to come in. He wants the manager to be hired now. Whether it's Greg, well, I'm adding words to his mouth here. But whether it's Greg or somebody else, he wants it on there so they can start building towards the future, building off the momentum they had at the end of the last cycle.
Here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing like the last cycle was so screwed up. We needed a coach like immediately, like who knew how to rebuild. This is not a rebuilding.
He talks about.
Hold on. This is not a rebuilding situation. This should not take as long to find a coach. We're not rebuilding from scratch.
Okay, so we're saying
like we were before. Now we've got a team, we got a core. We just need somebody competent to come in and take us to the next level. This is what I got out of this.
So yeah, he goes into talking about how we have a core group. You know, we don't need to reinvent the wheel is what he's basically saying. So hire a manager, let's get the ball moving. Let's not start from scratch again and go from there. But that's basically what he's going off of.
I guess, yeah.
4 years ago, or however many years ago for the last World Cup, where we need a complete rebuild. We don't need some, a bunch of new guys coming in and this. We have a strong core, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people have seen that. Okay. And we need to carry on with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what we're saying.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a tough one for me, because I think we could just want to continue that as soon as we can and build off of this World Cup, World Cup, which I think had a lot of positives in it, I will say. And I think we want to get going with that as soon as we can.
He's basically saying U.S. soccer needs to hurry the fuck up.
Yeah.
He's over the situation. Settled. He's over it.
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, so is Weston. Like, Weston said on that interview with Football Americas when he signed with Leeds, like, let's just get someone in. Like, we don't really need someone that crazy because our good core is good. Like Christian is saying, the core is over it. They want to coach. They want to move forward. And it's the federation that keeps, putting a hold on it, on moving forward. You're putting a hold on moving forward by not hiring a coach yet because of this investigation.
Yeah. You're a sporting director. Yeah.
Yeah. Hire someone and let's get it going. Your core players are ready to get at it and look at the new project going in 2026. So Weston has told me that. Christian just said it. And it's the body language of all the other main players. Like, we're ready to move forward. Let's go.
So what the fuck's the delay on just hiring Gooch?
I don't know what the fuck the delay is. But
Gooch just said, I want the job.
Gooch is a great example. Yeah. Because, I mean, I think we talked about this last Thursday, I think, with Eric. But I think the big issue here is Sportsology and akin to USSF are looking for somebody who will come in to take the role. But if USSF says, no, we're going to go this route instead, that the person who's going to be that sporting director role has to just sort of go, okay, that's cool, I'll do that. And everybody they've interviewed since has been like, nah.
Who have they interviewed?
The dude from Philly, what's his name?
Jim Carden?
No. The sporting director at Philly. I don't know his name. Okay. I can't think of it. They interviewed Vermes from Sporting Kansas City.
No, Brett, what happened with I've been told since.
Okay.
They asked if he would come in for an interview.
Well,
and he said Vermes said no, thank you.
I spoke about this on Jay's Spaces the other day because me and Johnny Russell, their captain, their main player, him and I are really close. And we're FaceTiming just because they played Dallas this weekend. And I was going to ask him if he's going to play the game because he's hurt. He's not. But on FaceTime, I was like, that's crazy. They were asking your coach to come to the national team. He said, yeah, but he rejected it. I was like, well, was it the sporting director or was it the head coach? He said, I think it was the head coaching job, but I could be wrong. It could have been the sporting director. I don't really know.
Sporting director. Yeah.
But Johnny thought it was the head coaching role. But he's like, regardless though, Peter didn't really want to leave for the U.S. national team. So no, that was So
he did not want to leave. He didn't even take an interview. And then the more recent guy.
DC guy, right?
Yeah, just get Gooch in there and give him the fucking job.
Gooch wants it.
Nobody else wants it.
Yeah.
And I get it. Gooch.
Who's Gooch?
Nguchi Onyewu. Former U.S. men's national team center back.
Yeah. He had the big stare down with Borghetti.
I saw something on Twitter. I know who he is. Yeah.
And he is
okay. So he needs to go hire Henry after that.
There you go. Problem solved.
So, and he's been an executive in Belgium in Nashville, the second division. What?
Chambers says it was Nashville, not DC.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Listen. Gooch has experience. He's been an executive. in this at a team in Belgium. So he obviously, the only issue you have here in some ways is that Gooch is going to be considered another insider because he serves on the board at US Soccer. So there you go. But at this point,
surprised because he is on the board at US Soccer. I'm kind of surprised he doesn't have the inroad already.
Well, maybe they're wary of looking like it's another insider job after the Jay and Greg thing. So maybe that's something they're worried about. But at this point, it's not going to take a rocket scientist to hire a sporting director. Just get one in there who knows the game, who knows the basics, who's been an executive. Seemingly nobody else wants the job. And so all Gooch is going to do is review candidates for the head coaching job. That's it. That's all he's going to do.
And there's not many head coaching candidates to review anyways.
There isn't.
It's Jim Curtins, it's Cherundolo, it's maybe Jesse March, and it's Thierry Henry because he's publicly putting himself out there for the job. It's 4 people. Not that hard.
So
not a hard job.
Is McKenzie fine with all those guys? Would he be ready to
I will
play
say
for
this,
any
though.
of them?
I know for a fact that at some point when the U.S. Federation does choose a sporting director, I know that there will be a conversation with the players, with the core players of how do you feel about option A, B, C, and D. The players are not going to decide, but they will be involved in how do you guys feel about this coach's philosophy, his tactics, and all that stuff. But listen, any player in the U.S. national team right now will be so fucking delighted to play for someone like Thierry Henry. They're not gonna have a problem with it. Jesse March, on the other hand, he plays very, very, very suspicious, crazy, goofy tactics. I have realized that now, so I don't really know how they feel about him. And Cherundolo, I think he won't have a problem getting the players to go with his way. I don't know much about Jim Curtins besides he's a serial winner, so I guess that's good.
I would agree with Colin here. There are more than 4 candidates. Those are just the ones that we're hearing about so far, right? But there are going to be. Well, I mean, there have been other people's names that have popped up, including the special one.
Crazy names like Jose Mourinho, which I told Tactus and I told so many people that is fucking fake. They're not taking no meetings with Jose Mourinho until they have a sporting director. That if you believe that, you I don't know what to tell you. People that were putting out that the U.S. Federation is meeting with Mourinho is crazy. They were never meeting with him. They never met with him. That's fucking.
Well, we can't meet with any of them because we don't have a fucking sporting director.
No, there were people on the U.S. national team's Twitter saying, "Oh yeah, there's a meeting set up. There's a meeting set up." No, the fuck, there's not.
No, there's not.
There's no fucking meeting set up.
There are no meetings set up.
None. So putting that out there,
a sporting director.
People get mad at me for the shit I put out. No, there's people on Twitter putting shit out there. Oh, they were gonna meet with Jose Mourinho. No, the fuck they weren't. No, they didn't. That never fucking happened. It pisses me off because they don't say shit to them, but whenever I say something, they fucking attack me saying, "Oh, it's not true. You're lying." I'm like, bro, what? I'm not.
So, do we have any real proof that Zidane ever was, said, "Hey, there was"?
Here's the thing. I don't think they even. You know how hard it is to ask as a man like Zidane. You think they can just call him and be like, "Hey, you want to come?" No, I'm pretty sure they reached out to maybe his agent or his manager and see would he be interested, and
sure,
and that's about it.
Right.
But
I guess
I don't even that much into it.
Yeah,
Of course, at that time, we still had a sporting director named Ernie Stewart when that happened, I believe, when the Zidane rumors were out. Well, we all know now that Ernie was on his way out. So I just don't know why it's so fucking hard to hire a sporting director. I cannot figure this out.
That's 27 has some options here.
29. We could get Jurgi Burger Picker-Low.
You cannot get Joachim Low, and you cannot get Luis Enrique. You cannot fucking get Luis Enrique. No, you can't. No, you fucking can't. You cannot get Luis Enrique. No, you can't. You can't even afford these guys. The budget for the U.S. men's national team coach is about $1.7 million to about $3 million a year.
There you go. Yeah, it's about right.
And $3 million is really at the high level.
$3 million a year in Chicago, you're only getting about 60% of that money.
Yeah.
No. You cannot afford those guys. You have to, after taxes, you have to be giving these guys you're naming about
$3 smart to go to a state that has no income tax.
And they're not doing that because you have to live in Chicago, which really fucks it up.
Well,
thanks for the $199 there.
Try convincing Jose Mourinho you have to live in Chicago.
Right, he probably just rent an apartment. And
he doesn't even know what Chicago is.
Well, yeah. Let's see. 3 million isn't a shit show. I think 3 million is way higher than I would ever expect them to pay right now. Keep in mind that Greg at 1.5 or 6 or whatever he was at was still
1.6, yeah,
still getting paid more than 50% of the other coaches in the World Cup. So that's still a lot of money, but it's not enough money for a guy unless he's willing to really settle down like Marino. It's just not going to happen. All right.
Colin said he wants Seedorf.
Seedorf's good, but what's his situation? Where's he at? What's he doing?
Good question. I have no fucking clue. I remember him as a player. That's
at
about
this point
it.
we're just throwing out names.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Which is, like I said, not real
Jurgen was paid $7 million, but that's over the course of his entire tenure, wasn't it? He was paid.
No. He got. I don't know if it was his entire tenure, but I do know this: he got paid more than Greg did.
They're saying Jurgen got paid more because he was both coach and sporting director.
I know
the rumor was after his tenure, he was supposed to go into the sporting director role, but I think he burnt so many bridges with some that it never came to fruition by any means.
Listen, I mean, why don't we just hire somebody who can do both positions as well? I mean,
Henry could.
Yeah. Why do we need to have all these little levels? And
I don't know, but ever since Henry put himself out there, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I know. I hear that from you. I hear it. You're pro on
Dude, listen, I think y'all know who I'm closest to. We hear Henry's name and we're shit like, fuck. Let's do it.
Well, he is a legend. He is a legend.
Let's do it. Hey, listen, number 8 on the U.S. national team says thumbs up to the GOAT, Thierry Henry. 3 thumbs up. 3 thumbs up. All the way. Number 8 says Henry. And there's other players that have heard Henry's name just on social media, and they say, fuck it, let's do it.
Sure.
So.
Oh, and then we got on this whole thing, we had Lawless chiming in today and hedging on some and we'll see the hedging. And the first hedge on the Gio-Gate is let me see, it's on the back here. It's at 4:30, 4 minutes and 30 seconds in. I'll give you my reaction, then you guys can react.
Okay, you tell me when to stop.
Okay.
You mentioned the fact that a U.S. national team game was having female referees. Now that's a horrible thing and a bad thing for Claudia. But I would say this, Mossy. Sometimes I would love in this day and age to snap my fingers and everybody's personal communications were public, and to see what we would be as a culture, as a country, and as individuals. And
okay, that's enough.
I'm sure that you and
basically he's basically kind of giving Claudio an out here. But let me put it this way: in this circumstance, Claudio Reyna is not having a personal fucking conversation like Brett and I have on the phone.
I was going to say
he is sending emails to U.S. Soccer. And by the way, he used to work at U.S. Soccer, and he's a exec at a fucking wherever he was at the time. I think Man City, could have been somewhere else. But regardless, he's sending these in a professional. As a professional to U.S. Soccer. This is not a private. This is not personal. So this is not comparable. Nobody's saying that we're all perfect and that we haven't said things one-on-one with our personal friends in private. This isn't that. This is not a private fucking party or a private conversation. Reyna said this to U.S. Soccer in an official email in an official capacity. So yes, that is able to be scrutinized, and no, he should not have said that shit. Just saying.
So, who did he send that? I forgot who he sent that text to.
U.S. Soccer.
Like, to
I don't know who specifically to, because they blacked out his name.
Fair enough. It's possible that maybe he was just venting to a friend.
You don't do that.
What did he say? The woman? Is this about the woman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that shit was crazy.
Yes. Bad refs are bad refs. I don't care.
Yeah, we talked about this on Thursday too.
Or
yeah,
a vagina.
Yeah, that's just crazy, dude.
But yeah, I was gonna make the joke. I'm like, God, when Alexa's like, Yeah, I wish everybody's text or everybody's communications would be made public.
No,
God, I hope to
we
God they
do
don't
not
follow
need that.
Derek and mine.
We do not need that.
My comment thread. Jesus,
I can tell you this much. If you did make Brett and I's private conversations public, you won't see a fucking single comment of us saying that all women refs are bad. Because we would never say anything.
Just women drivers, right, Derek?
If you had my messages leaked, guys, oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. If you're private messaging somebody you know really well, you can say things that would sound horrible to others.
Yeah, you can.
Out of context.
No, that's a valid thing, because listen, there's some things that Weston says to me that are fucking insane, that if he said it to the general public, they'd be like, "Oh my god." But and to me they're just like LOL.
But that's why it's a private message. Yeah. So if I send something outrageous to Brett in jest, he's going to know it's a joke. Now, this is not the same situation, Lawless. This is Claudio Reyna sending a message about a U17 game that's being played in which he is an executive or working for, at the time, I believe, U.S. Soccer, and he's sending that in a professional capacity to U.S. Soccer. And I believe he was an executive somewhere. I don't think it was Austin yet, but I believe he had at least already been and had a job at U.S. Soccer. Okay, so he had all the connections. That transmission is a professional transmission to U.S. Soccer, and that goes somewhere, and it's going to be stored. You're a moron if you think that that's not going to be exposed at some point.
Say, Derek, if you got investigated, and they're like, oh, this guy, Mr. Corbett over here, is his podcast co-host, and they go through my text messages, so they're going to find out who you'd like to do what to, and with the 10 entry. And I'm just saying.
No, no, I'm talking about emails. This was an email. That's even worse than a text message, because that is definitely being.
Wait, why are you emailing? But why is Claudio even emailing? Like,
because he's a dinosaur.
Yo, he is a dinosaur, but I never really. The only person I know emails is Elon Musk and Ed Sheeran. They don't have phone numbers. They don't have phones. They email. They email everything. My friend had Elon Musk on a podcast, and he said that the way they conversate with him to like set it up was you literally have to email him.
Yeah. So
that's
I would say this though as well, that if you've ever worked at a job, your professional emails going out through your email at work to anybody, that shit's all going to come back to haunt you. So yes, you act professional. You don't send an email like that to U.S. Soccer. That's just
why are they emailing U.S. Soccer when you can just call them though?
Well, he could. That'd probably be less capturable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would make more sense to call.
Like, hey, stop using women refs, you fucking doofuses. Hang up.
That's a horrible thing to say.
It's a horrible thing to say, but guess what? At least you can't prove that he said it.
That's true. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but there was something in the investigation where they talked about an in-person conversation, I think, at Qatar. And they brought up a description of something, and they're like, "Well, that was to the best of my recollection."
That was the comments that Danielle made about his shoes and his bouncing balls.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Speaking of Qatar,
can we take this quote real quick before you do that?
Go ahead.
Alex Martinez says for $4.99. Thank you, Alex. Reyna and Winalda have the tendency to say the truth, and people nowadays don't like to hear real opinions. Okay, there's a difference, Alex, between truth and opinions. Opinions are something that you hold that's something you believe in, but the truth might be different from your opinion. So the truth and the opinions are different things. Let's just make that clear. Now, as far as Reyna and Winalda go, I don't know about Reyna saying truths right now. Claudio saying truths.
He called USSF the clown show. That's the truth.
Well, that's true.
I mean, that's the truth.
It's the truth. I mean, it's still an opinion, but it feels like
it's a true opinion.
It feels like the truth, and it's certainly you could layer upon layer of evidence that shows that it is a clown show, whatever that metaphor means, and then you could describe what that metaphor means, match it up with the evidence, and come out with something that means that's rather sensible, right, and rather objective. But in this case, we got to know the difference between subjective and objective, and mostly what Reyna and Winalda deal with is it's not objective. It's subjective. Winalda did have some pieces he shared with us about how upset the Reyna family is, and that turned out to be true. So that seems like an objective fact. But I don't know if they're always right, because none of us are always right. So there you go.
Well, I think everything he said about Qatar has been pretty much spot on.
Yes, it did turn out to be right.
Qatar, did y'all see that quote from Greg where he said there was 150 people in our friends and family program and only 5 were having a bad time?
And they were the rate, as he said. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I have said, even on that first space months ago, and I had said on multiple spaces before, during that event, during that whole family, that Thanksgiving thing where they had the
rooftop barbecues?
Well, but the family Thanksgiving thing where they invited all the friends and family of the players to the Thanksgiving on the day after the England game, or the day of the England game, whichever it was. I had said this on Jay's Space one time. You know how hard it is for Greg went to every single family and friend and shook their hands and chatted with them. And he went around to every single family member and friend of his players except for one player's family. Gio Reyna's family. And I said this on Jay's podcast. I said this on Jay's Space. This man went around shaking everyone's hand, laughing with everybody, except Gio Reyna, Claudio Reyna, Daniel.
Because he already knew.
They had so much bad smoke. They had so much bad smoke in Qatar. It was bad. And people thought I was over exaggerating when I said this months ago. No, it was so fucking bad.
Is this after the first game? After the first game or before the first game?
Well, the Thanksgiving game. What was the Thanksgiving game? I think that was the Black Friday. That was after Thanksgiving. So that was the England game, which is the second game, right?
Right.
Yeah. So after the second game, the whole 150 people thing, that's the Thanksgiving. That was after England.
But according to this investigation, that started right after the first game, actually, because the Berhalters refused to get on the Berhalter crew refused to get on the same bus. Or excuse me, the Reyna crew refused to get on the same bus with the Berhalter crew to go back.
Well, after what game?
The first game.
I know for a fact I don't know if that's I think that's inaccurate, because I can confirm for a fact that Danielle Reyna walked to the same bus as Tina McKenzie, which is Weston's mom, and they talked on the bus about that game the whole way back to the hotel. So that's on record. Tina tells me all the time about the conversation her and Danielle had after the first game.
So
it's on the same bus.
So Danielle, Weston's mom, and Berhalter's wife were all on the same bus on the way home after.
I know for a fact after the first game, Danielle was venting to Tina in the bus on the way back to the hotels after the first game. I know for a fact that's on everything, because Tina.
What about Berhalter's wife?
I don't know about that. Tina just told me about her conversation with Danielle after that first game when they were shocked.
So what the report says, just to be clear, 29 is that I should call you by Diego. Is that even after the first game, she refused to get back on the same bus she came with and went on a different bus back.
Okay, so she went back on Tina's bus.
Yes.
Okay.
Instead, because she did not want to be on the same bus as the Berhalter.
But I was like, yeah, no, she was on a bus back, and she was back. She went back with Tina.
No, she did get on the bus, but the second bus, not the
Okay,
first.
so there's a different. Okay, yeah, no, because she went back with Tina, and she vented to Tina the whole way back to the hotel about.
Oh, I bet
her feelings about Greg not playing Gio that first opening game. So
yeah, you don't have to actually tell us.
No. And I would. I was just like so confused. I was like, wait. I know for a fact Danielle was on the bus because Tina told me the story about it.
Yeah. Bus too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right, and then go ahead, Brad.
Did you actually, jumping back to the whole McKenzie's dad photo with Berhalter? We talked about this briefly earlier. But do you think, this is me being, a jokester here, but do you think they purposely took the photo where they did because the Reynas were in the background of the photo?
Are they in the background?
Yeah.
That's just John. That's probably John being a troll. Oh, Greg, let's take a picture. Hey, the Reynas are behind us. Fucking goofy motherfucker.
That was the first thing. The photo comes up and everything, and everybody pointed out. I'm like, hey, look, that's the Reyna table behind them.
I just see the photo. I saw the photo on Twitter, and I just knew it was him with Greg, all like buddy.
Mm-hmm.
First time he's ever met Greg, by the way, was during the World Cup.
And he was nowhere near Tina during that whole World Cup. So very
Shout out
weird.
Tina McKenzie, man. That's my second mom, man.
Yeah.
She's the best. She's the best.
So then we go to 8:30 on this, 8:15 on this video, and we get a little more hedging from Wallace.
Sorry, what was the minute?
8:15.
To
Commercial.
Crunch Fitness.
remain on the team. So in that sense, you're right. The Reynas win. But also to your point, I could see Greg Berhalter getting an MLS coaching job in 2023 before I could see Claudio Reyna getting a front office job. I might be wrong about that, but my sense is that he's been made really toxic by this whole situation.
Yeah, he has. And, I think that, I think I tweeted out yesterday that,
So pause it real quick.
that he made a mistake.
Okay. He made a mistake, or did he make several mistakes? Is my question.
Is he referring to Greg?
He's referring to
Claudio.
the Reynas. Claudio.
Oh, okay. About Reyna making a mistake?
Yeah, Claudio making the mistakes.
Yeah.
Gio's dad making
Yeah.
a mistake. No, it's multiple mistakes.
Well, are we talking about just Qatar or multiple mistakes since Gio's been in the program?
Yeah, whole thing.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's multiple.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think that he's making this like as it's just one big bad mistake, but it's not. This is a series of mistakes now that have been documented. And, Alexi's going to sort of like try to damper this here because he's probably still friends with Claudia, I would guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But listen, you got to own up to a guy that's fucked up sometimes, even if he's your best buddy, because this is making Alexi look kind of like soft.
Yeah, I like the Reynas. I generally do. What Claudio's done is kind of like unacceptable.
Yeah,
For sure.
it is.
For
And,
sure. But
I
you can separate the two. What people can't do is separate Gio from his parents. People cannot do that. They struggle to separate the two. They're two different entities.
They are.
Well, and despite the narrative that people like to push on Twitter that there is no group there's no Reyna out
There is
group on Twitter, there absolutely is. And
sure.
Chris Gary has posted a number of people who basically said the same thing. And I had a back and forth with somebody, very cordial back and forth too, as far as why he would, and because he likes
Gio's mistakes in Qatar are so fixable. They were fixed. You came with a bad attitude. You felt entitled. I get it. You're a 20-year-old superstar. Fix it. Fix your attitude and just work hard. And Gio shit's fixed. What his parents did, that's kind of unsalvageable.
And if only that immoral conference didn't leak all the information.
Correct. So here we go. A little bit more of this just to see how lawless.
Mossy said something though. I'm going to jump back here. It was 8:15, right?
Yeah, you can go back a little if you want.
Remain on the team. So in that sense, you're right. The Reynas win, but
the whole Reynas win thing. That's what I wanted to talk about.
No, what he's saying is the Reynas win, but they're going to eventually not win because they're getting fucked for this.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's the whole concept.
And
the Reynas win. Berhalter's not going to get the position back. I'm like, okay.
I don't think that they were
win.
They were thinking about this winning, weren't they? You based on all the quotes you heard from Claudia and Danielle. To them, this is about getting back at Berhalter.
I think it was just wanting to stick it to him. I don't necessarily think they were looking at like a win or lose the situation. I think they just wanted this. They wanted revenge. Period.
What's winning in this? What is the revenge? The revenge in the winning part is making sure Greg cannot be hired again. And he's not going to be hired again because of this. There's too much nastiness.
In theory,
now.
I guess you can claim that you won a war even if you lost like 5 times as many men as the previous as the opposition.
That's called a Pyrrhic victory.
I'm saying,
that's what this is. They may have won, but they still lost, right? That's what a Pyrrhic victory is.
They achieved their goal, but I don't know. We may be splitting hairs here. I don't know.
No, we're not. We're saying the same thing, Brett. Yeah. It's called a Pyrrhic victory when you win the battle, but you still lost. Okay, that's what this is. They won the battle, they lost anyhow, and he's right. Claudio's never going to have a job again. This is pretty much a killer unless we go back to Lawless and what he says about how we're all so forgiving. Aren't we?
I think I tweeted out yesterday that he made a mistake, and we all make mistakes.
Yeah, we can
And
fast forward to the
that mistake, like I
15
said,
part.
was overstepping.
I was already at
bounds,
the
and there's
15 part.
no
That's
way
where
they
Moss
could put that
starts.
genie back.
No, that was you went back to fourth. Yeah, you went back. Okay, you're right. You're right. My bad.
This is the response. Yeah, this is the response you've been wanting to talk about.
8:15. Yeah, my bad.
In the bottle, it is there. And toxic, I don't know. I think that's a little strong. I think that ultimately humans.
Wait, wait, is more than compelled to call a swath of the U.S. men's national team fan base toxic.
It's toxic.
But he's not willing to say that Claudio's actions aren't toxic.
Oh yeah, he's got a whole
know.
different. He's got all different kind of views in his head about what's toxic, depending on how friendly he is with the person he's talking about. Yeah.
We are forgiving. I did think that the statement that the Reynas put out through their agent was a little weird in that
Yes.
if they just owned it, apologized, this will go away. People will move on. And I do think people are ultimately human.
So do you think instead of the agent's response,
His agent is Dan Seeley. He's Wasserman's vice president.
okay,
It's my boy.
Sure.
But
instead of the response that came out, if they came out and just said, "Hey, this was just this was an act of passion. We were upset. We wanted revenge."
No, don't say that.
Well, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not saying what you should say. You again, just like how the agent came out with his spiel. You have somebody overlook what you want to say and how you want to say it, because that's important. But just like Gio's response when he responded, his response was very calculated, very to the point, and it wasn't emotionally driven. Back in December. Same thing though, but if they came out and they basically said, "Hey, this was an act of passion," and again, I'm spitballing.
No, all they had to do was say, "We fucked up. We're sorry. We're ready to move on," and that's it.
But I don't know. I don't know if everybody would believe the fact that they would be sorry that they said that about Greg though.
I'm also not sure that the Federation is going to send Gio to the presser in Orlando.
I don't think they should.
I don't.
And he can refuse it too.
Yeah, he can refuse it, and I think
I would.
From what Dan is saying, his agent, from what Dan has told me, it's like they don't really think they want to send Gio into the Flames right now, because every question, it's the same reason what his dad didn't do a preseason with Austin FC, is because every question was going to be about Qatar.
Yep.
So same thing with Gio. I think they're going to try to protect him and just let it blow over. But you know what? They might surprise you and throw him out and just say, "Yo, go apologize," and that's it.
How about this, Diego? Hold on, just before we read this.
Well, and
I don't want to get too far away from the topic since we're deep in it right now. Diego, what do you think that maybe Claudio, instead of as the agent, but Claudio should have put out the statement personally?
Dude, you just know how athletes are. Their agents usually do everything.
I know, but Claudio's not an athlete anymore. Claudio, the dad, should be able to step up and say, "I'm putting out a personal statement. This is how I feel. Yes, we screwed up, and we apologize to Greg.
Yeah.
It was a bad mistake, and we're ready to move on."
Yeah, in that perspective, yeah, Claudio should have just took accountability. He said, "Yeah, I said some fucked up things in the past, and I acted wrongly in Qatar," and yeah, he should have. But
I wouldn't have put out that statement through my agent. I really wouldn't have.
I thought that statement was more for Gio, though. That's what I thought.
Well, it did mention they're losing their child and that they thought that
I said this the other day on Jay Spaces, man. When people throw in things like that, it's just to deflect from the issue.
Mm-hmm.
To get some
I think
sympathy.
that's what Lawless is kind of hinting at as well right here.
Yeah, it's just like to deflect, to get some empathy and sympathy from fans and try to deflect from the issue.
I would have left that bit out completely.
I think Claudio, I think you're right. I think Claudio should have came out and he should have released a statement and just owned up to it. And then Gio apologizes in the presser for his parents if he has to. Maybe he doesn't. And then everything would have been over. Would have been over with. But now it's not over. It's going to follow Gio some more because of what the report came out. And that's all Orlando's going to be asking about. Where's Gio? Where's Gio? Where's Gio? Can we get his opinion? Can we get his opinion?
Yeah, that's why somebody else last night, it was the Best Soccer Show guys who were like, yeah, just throw him up there in front of the press. Get it over with. No, because the only questions they're going to ask are going to be,
Do you think your parents should have done this?
There are going to be 15 different worded versions
Yeah.
of the same question that he's going to have to answer about how horrible his parents are.
So do you think in that situation though, do you think he could when he walks out there give an opening statement? You know, I know the turd usually does that stuff, but maybe he gives an opening statement expressing it and saying that's all I'm going to say about that topic. Let's talk about the upcoming games.
Yeah. I think they might do that, but I said this the other day, I was in Scottsdale for the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago, and Wasserman does this brunch for like the whole agency, not just soccer players, like entertainment, all that stuff. Casey Wasserman is Wasserman. I was invited. I went. I talked to one of the agents. I won't say who, but I talked to one of the agents about Gio and all that. And I mean, they definitely thought that the Reynas being the dad, being Claudio, definitely thought he's in the wrong, and that he just needs to take accountability. And people would, because here's the thing: if Claudio doesn't take accountability, people are going to hold on to his son. They're going to attach his son to it throughout his whole career, and they're just always going to hold. Claudio needs to take accountability for his son's sake. For his son's sake.
I agree.
And this is one of the agents, and I don't want to say what agent, but this is one of the big agents at Wasserman said, listen, Claudio just needs to own up to his shit, because people are attaching his son to this, and they are dragging him through the mud for what his parents do. So the sooner his dad accepts what the fuck he did wrong, we'll be good. Mm-hmm. But you just saw as Claudio had Gio's agent come out and apologize for them, and it wasn't his dad who did it. So
yes, and the statement made it sound like there's more to the story, because they felt that the investigation report was unfair, which means there are more chapters to come.
Because and you know what they say that? Because Danielle feels that Greg should be held accountable for what he did years ago. They're not releasing the details of what happened with Greg.
Well, we know a little more, but like we know now that Greg's wife hit him first. But other than that, I've heard some crazy things from the Reyna camp about details that were not a part of the report.
Oh,
I'm sure they didn't make it out as bad as it probably was. It's probably pretty bad.
Well, that's what she alluded to in her initial statement back in December.
That's what Dan said. He said that they felt it's unfair because it's like that report was meant to make the Reynas look bad, and Greg just gets off with a fucking slap on his wrist.
And the problem with it now is that they come out and they say some other stuff. It's just going to make them look worse.
And it's 30 years ago.
Yeah,
but it still happened though, you know. That's the way they see it.
With Danielle,
lots of shit happens 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but that's the way Danielle sees it. It's like, well, it still happened.
Yeah. Well, and then how many people do you know that who go through that, but who go through it? Somebody, a friend of yours goes through something, and you're like, I'm never going to forgive this person. Then they forgive him, and then you forgive them on the like just a skin level of it, of saying, I'm going to forgive him for this person, but then something comes up, and all of a sudden it strikes.
Yeah,
it's like I never really forgave you for that, but
yeah, it's. But you guys saw Danielle's quote about one phone call after this tournament, and Greg is fucking done.
All the shoes and his bounce passes are gone.
Yep. Hey, anybody's that's been married knows that nothing 20 years ago was.
It's
not dead and gone. Yeah.
But Danielle's alluding to that because she knows what really happened back then, and she says, from what I've heard, she says that what happened is way worse than the way the report made it look like.
You tell me it wasn't just 2 kicks to the legs, wasn't it?
Well. Okay, we can't really say anything more than that. We don't know.
But that's what Daniel's alluded to. That's what Daniel's alluded to by what it's just way worse than what the report made it look like.
Yeah, but even if it were a bit worse or more worse or
regardless,
whatever you went, it's just we can't talk about it because we don't know, and nobody else was there to witness it except for the anonymous guy who tackled Berhalter.
Except the woman saying that it should be more. They just feel that Greg should be held more accountable. That's all they feel.
I guess he could be if it happened 15 or 5 years ago, but yeah, it's getting so old at this point that
it is a slippery
legally, this is, as the report said, the investigation concluded, this is done. Alex Martinez says for $19.99. Thank you, Alex. We appreciate it. Besides the Reynas getting angry about their son not getting playing time, do y'all agree or disagree that it's the truth that Gio should have played more at the World Cup. Hell yeah. Was Gio's World Cup time fair? Well,
Depends
no,
on who you
and
ask.
yes, because if he had a bad attitude, then he fixed it. Then maybe he should have played more in game 2 and 3 and 4.
Again, the attitude was that week of training camp when they landed from Qatar from their clubs, and that's when the attitude was an issue because he didn't want to. And I've talked about this multiple times. He didn't want to sprint or press in 110-degree weather at training. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do certain drills. He didn't want to run. He was jogging around. He was moving around. That's just fixable. And it was fixed because Greg spoke, and this is confirmed. I know the conversation that Greg had with Gio through another player. He says, yo, like, you got to pick up the intensity. Like, I don't know what's going on through your mind. Like, are you good? Like, what's going on? He's like, I just feel that I don't want to be doing these. Like, what do I have to prove? I'm going to play against Iran. I'm going to play against Wales. I'm going to play against England. I'm good. And that's when Greg had a problem. I was like, no, you cannot be coming into training camp with that attitude. You need to be you need to do what you got to do to earn your spot. Like, you're not going to be handed a spot. You have to earn it. And that's how Gio had a bad reaction to that. And that's what all this alludes to. But they spoke to Gio and he got it together and he still benched him. He still didn't play him.
So, and now I've said this a number of times as well, but I'm fine with the benching during the Wales game. It's similar. I mean, it's the you had an outburst. I can't just let you off with it,
or just bench him and play him at least 20 minutes, maybe. Just so, and that's your consequence
instead of Morris.
Well, yeah,
that's your consequence. You got benched.
Even if you aren't played in the Wales game, he should have played more in the England game. He should have played against Iran.
Can I tell y'all something?
Keep coming with it.
Yeah.
Had this not happened, Gio's attitude problem, I heard they were going 4-3-3 with Gio as false 9.
Well, I guess we saw it against Holland in the second
half. We did see it versus Holland.
This is confirmed. Like, said, yo, in the locker room when they would go to training, the formation was 4-3-3 with Gio starting at false 9, and him and Pulisic just everybody in the front three would just rotate in that center position, and they were just going to drift. They were just going to drift all game. They were just going to drift, hit him with different things, all that.
So
I like that.
What happened afterwards, though?
But because Gio did what he did, Greg changed the whole game plan, and he ended up using whoever started that first game.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be Gio at false 9 for opening day with Tim and Christian just all rotating through the top, in the middle.
I guess
that is some interesting shit to know. That's all I got to say.
I guess.
You saw it come out against the Netherlands in the second half. That's what they did.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really interesting thing to talk to conceptualize. Because the whole speculation
was the whole training camp, the week up into Qatar was who's going to be the number 9? Who's going to be the number 9? Gio Reyna was going to be the number 9. He's going to be false 9. That's what they were going to do. And then Gio Reyna had that outburst, and Greg changed the plans.
Interesting. Very good. Thank you for that info.
I guess why the problem is though, why not revert back to it after he served his time in Wales?
He could.
If that was the case, why change it?
And that's why the Reynas are really fucking upset, because it's like, okay, you gave him a consequence. You benched him. Let's get back to it. Let's go back. Come on. But nope. He held on to that consequence for a long time. Yeah.
And I guess the other thing was when talking about whether or not his World Cup time was fair. Again, I mentioned depends on who you're talking to, and you look at like the Iran game. We were up 1-0. There's definitely a group of people who at that point are looking at it saying, well, we're up 1-0. You want to hold on to lead. You don't need to necessarily bring in an offensive-minded player like Gio at that point. So you bring in some defensive-minded players, kind of park the bus. And I've always stood on the point that I would prefer to kill the games by controlling the game rather than just letting them have chance after chance after chance after chance after chance.
Deeper than that, Brett.
People are saying,
hold on. I don't want to leave out this comment because this is really important. David D says, but that doesn't jive with limited role he was allegedly told about. What we're talking about now doesn't jive with that story at all. What we're talking about, he was in the plans, and now what we were told by
he was in the plans, and then he had that outburst, and then he was not in the plans no more.
So he was told after the outburst, now you got a limited role. But what we heard before was he was told that he was going to have a limited role coming into the World Cup, and that's why he sulked as he went into the World Cup.
From what I've heard, is Gio was going to be used as false nine going into training camp. So whenever they got called over from Dortmund and everybody checked into Qatar that week before, Gio was in the plans. And then he had some attitude problems, and Greg said, you know what? Never mind. We're not going to go with you anymore.
Wow. So that changes the whole narrative because that is the opposite
this is from
narrative.
What I know. And this is from what I know because his name, someone's telling me his name was on the whiteboard at training as a number 9 going into Qatar, like that week before when they were all checking in training, 7 days before. He was there. And then he had his little outburst, like, I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to do this. And Greg's like, you know what, buddy?
Well, that completely changes the take from what he posted out.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when I saw that comment, that was pertinent because we've been told the opposite of that for so long that's the original thing. Was the first interview that Reyna had with Greg was, hey, you're going to have a limited role in this World Cup, and that's why he sulked.
Yeah.
But what you're telling us is, no, he went to the original trainings and it was really fucking hot, and he's like, I'm not fucking doing this.
He had an Allen Iverson moment there, like, we're talking about practice here, guys, practice.
And because Gio was, or here's the thing, he had that Allen Iverson moment because Gio was like, all right, cool, I'm in the plans, I'm good. What do I got to practice for? That's what turned Greg off.
Yeah.
Think, okay, you are in the plans.
Yeah.
But now you want to talk about I don't got to practice because I'm already in the plans. Nah, we're going to change that shit. You're not in the plans no more.
Well, that certainly gives Greg.
Gio is really, but let me tell you, to Gio's defense, Gio was upset because, okay, I'm already in the plans. I'm trying to consume my energy for the game. And now you're punishing me for that. Gio thought he was in the plans. He thought he was in the plans because he saw that he was in the plans. And then Greg changed that up, which pissed Gio off. Like, dude, you're going to change the whole World Cup tactics just because I'm jogging and not pressing at 110 degrees? That pissed him off.
So Gio thought he was conserving. Well, Greg said, no, fuck conserving.
Well, but also Greg fucking a liar because Greg said he was hurt.
That's true.
So, I mean, we talked about that, and I had brought up the point that may have been Greg's way of trying not to let this whole drama leak out. You know, like, Gio, we were worried about him. Kindness during the friendly, and we're just playing it lightly here. You know, he'll come in later on. So I feel like there's a part to me that thinks that basically before the match started, he's like, Gio, you're not fucking playing today. And I'm going to tell the pressers that you're hurt, you know. Again, as the punishment would be consistent with the crime there.
Do y'all think Greg just pulled playing Gio at number 9 against the Netherlands out his ass? No, he fucking had it planned. He wanted to do that. People are saying, "Oh, we really think Greg was going to do something new?" I mean, yeah, he literally started a Tim Ream out of nowhere after not playing for a year. Yeah, Greg's capable of doing that. Greg just doesn't do it. But he's capable of doing it. It doesn't mean he doesn't write it down on his board and say, "Oh, well, we could do this." No, Greg has ideas. Greg has ideas.
To your defense, Diego, it's not something new because when Ferreira plays, we do play that false 9.
People in the comments are saying, "Wow, I don't believe that Greg would just do that." Listen, you think Greg just pulled it out his ass against the Netherlands? No,
you're simply replacing Ferreira with Reyna,
which is the same player.
Yes. But no, way better player. Better player.
Jesus is more of a number 10 than a number 9 to begin with. He's more of a false 9.
But when he plays for us, he plays a false 9. So you're replacing Ferreira with Reyna, who's a better
Reyna's
player.
And Reyna's a better option. So
absolutely
people saying that, he's trying something new. No, bro. Like, Greg has these plans, but guess what? That shit before the training camp, that shit during the training camp, fucked it up. But
at that point though, you've got to. Yeah. You've got to, at some point though, especially with the team being the way they are, you got to drop that mentality at some point, in the sense that if Greg wants to continue punishing him, he can continue punishing him. But come the Netherlands, when it was basically going to be Haji or Ferreira playing, and you start Ferreira, and then you bring him in Reyna in the second half for Ferreira. Why not at that point just start Reyna from the get go?
Ferreira gave the most useless 45 minutes I've ever seen.
Well, It is equivalent to anytime he's not playing a FIFA ranked 100 team or more. That's pretty much the gameplay. Right,
but
yeah, if you're gonna play a false nine, you play Reyna from the start. From the start,
Gio is not lying when he did the first interview saying I was told I was given a limited role. Yeah, you were told you were given a limited role. This is the only thing I defend this Greg on is you were given a limited role because you showed up and you didn't want to do shit because you saw your name with the starting 11. That's what made Gio feel entitled. He saw his name with the starting 11 as a false nine and said, "Cool, I'm good. I like this. Let's do it." And then you were told, "Yeah, never mind, because your attitude is shit."
Well,
that's the thing, and
hopefully that's a reality check in the end. Hopefully it doesn't happen again.
And listen, believe me or not, I don't give a fuck at this point. That's confirmed from a player inside the locker room. That's all I'm gonna say. Because, yeah. So, take that how you want.
That changes everything. That changes everything.
But Gio's interview is not a lie. He told he was given a limited role. No, that's still valid. But why he was told that is a different story.
But his Instagram post that he after Greg's immoral conference came out was leaked to the press. The next day, Gio had an Instagram post that basically said that the reason why he was sulking, the reason why he was moping around, and he got called out for was because he was told basically off the plane that he was going to have a limited role.
So Gio played it the other direction, is what we're saying, Diego. He was saying the reason I moped around was because I was told I was given
I remember
see what I'm saying?
I remember his Instagram post. Well, I'm sorry for putting that out there, Gio. But because I love Gio so much. I love Gio.
I'm hoping this whole ordeal is a learning experience, and he doesn't have this situation ever again.
Anything here. Listen, this shit still happened regardless. It doesn't matter if Gio twisted the narrative a little bit on his Instagram post and all of that. Listen, it still happened regardless of these are minor details. These are minor details regardless, but it happened from what I know from my sources, from a player inside the locker room. Gio was false number 9.
What were some of your sources, not going to name anybody in particular, thinking when Gio was slacking it?
Oh, well, here's the thing. They know Gio. They've been playing with Gio for years.
Yeah.
They don't see anything new. Like, okay.
That's just what he does.
That's who he is. And rightfully so. He's Gio Reyna. He's kind of the world at his feet. Does what he does with the ball. He's Gio Reyna. Like Weston, he never had a problem with Gio Reyna. He doesn't have a problem with him. He knows who Gio is. That's one of his closest friends on the team. I would say that's one of his best friends on the team with him and Tyler. Those are some of his best friends. He's never had a problem with him. And when it happened, he just kind of said, "You're gonna be all right." I know. I don't want to speak about it because I just don't want to put Weston's words out there. I know.
That's why I said you don't have to name it.
I know Weston's direct conversation with Gio about the scenario, and it wasn't anything that you would. It's not anything crazy. Like, oh, bro, you're letting us down. You're letting. And Weston's conversation with Gio is kind of the reflection of the rest of the team's conversations with Gio, besides a couple of those MLS players.
Yedlin.
It's all good. It's all good. Just pick it up, bro. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be good.
I guess jumping back to a point I kind of made earlier, if Greg's plan coming into the World Cup was to play Gio as the false 9, and that was what he thought was going to be the best route for success in this World Cup, after that first game, which I still classify as a punishment, hey, you're not going to play this game. You're going to say you're injured. You'll play later on. At that point, why doesn't Greg revert back to the plan that he thought was going to be the most successful plan? Why does he revert back to playing the 9s, Brett, who haven't been very successful for us in the past? Not saying that anything against the 9s, but how he plays the 9s.
Okay. Here's an explanation for that. He had a different game plan for England than he did for Iran and Wales. That's why. He could easily explain that away. He really could. He could, if he wanted. What he can't explain is playing Ferreira as a false 9 against Holland for a half and not starting with Reyna as the false 9 from the beginning. That's what you can't explain against Holland. And I would have liked to see him versus Iran.
So we're assuming that his game plans varied between the opponents that we were going to play.
Yes, I think the
That
game
never
plan.
there was no
the game
indication of
plan
that all
for-
through the fucking cycle.
No, the game plan for England was way different. If you
I'm-
watch that game, it was a totally different game plan. We played a totally different game. Totally different.
It was more. It was definitely. No. I'm just saying. And maybe that
We
was
played
the only, maybe that
Sergeant.
was only going to be the only game that was going to be different. I guess.
Yeah, Sargent played up top in that game versus England.
Haji played up top, and then
Listen.
Sargent came in that
Yeah,
game.
like I said, Greg has different tactics, but from what I know, that Iran game, Gio was the guy at false nine just because they're a deep block, so you need creativity to break it. Who do you think is the best player to break a deep block? Gio fucking Reyna.
Exactly. Yes.
That's why Gio Reyna was going to play against Iran. I'm sorry for
It's
alluding against
creativity.
Gio's Instagram post, really, but Gio Reyna, like, yo, they didn't tell you were going to have a limited role coming off the plane. You were told you were given a limited role after a couple of days in training. You were doing whatever the fuck you wanted because you saw your name. You saw your name as the number 9, and you said, all right, let's go. I'm playing my
Oh,
first
I wouldn't
one.
worry about it too much, Diego. I don't.
No.
think anybody-
But it's just the truth. Like,
No,
I'm
I
sorry they
like
had
the
to get out
truth.
there. But
The truth is good. The truth will set you
it's
free.
because Iran plays such a fucking deep block that Gio Reyna is who you need to break it. And then England, you switch tactics because England's a different team and whatever. But
Yes.
that Iran game, that's the tactics. Gio Reyna is the best player to play in that position for that game, and Greg actually had a good idea with that. But then Gio kind of came in there and did what he did, and it fucked everything up, and it changed the whole narrative of everything else. So
Yeah, I believe Sargent started the game versus England. Got
yeah, he
injured.
did, but that's because he's a tall.
Wright
he's
Wright
tall.
came in and then scored the ghost goal off of his heel.
That's
versus
like
England.
that wasn't
We
against
didn't score
England.
against England. It was 0-0, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
England
it was 0-0.
No. Sargent started against Wales. Haji started against England. Sargent started against Iran. Injured
There you
himself.
go. Thank you.
Who's the
Yeah.
first game we're talking about?
What?
Who was
First
the
game
opening
was
game?
Wales.
It was Wales.
Wales is the D block. I'm sorry.
Right.
That was Sargent.
You guys were telling me that Iran was the first game. Okay.
No, Iran.
Wales first game, second
Wales-
game England, third game.
Wales is the team that has the deep block. So if you want to break a deep block, you need someone creative. So Gio Reyna was that guy. So that's what the plans was. I'm over here thinking. I was like, Iran has the first game doesn't make sense to me, but
No, I didn't think you said
and they're
that.
they're all white and red and green colored teams too.
Yeah.
So it's very confusing. But
Oh,
yes.
Sorry.
We need to
pulled up another
thank
chat.
Kearney. We need
Yep,
to
I
thank
100%
Kearney.
thought that. Let's pull that up first. Yeah.
Thank you, Kearney. We really
And,
appreciate the support.
Again, I didn't see anything else from you afterwards, so thanks for the $20.
And by the way, I don't know how many people
Please
are
feel
in
free
this.
to post
this
some stuff.
I don't know how many people are in this chat.
There's
What?
116 right now.
Please like, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. But like it. Let's get it up there. Why not? Chris Gary says, page 26 of the report, it says, Mr. Stewart explained, this is Ernie, that coaches had concerns about Gio's level of fitness for the first game because he was recovering from an injury. Well, that's a joke. He'd been playing for Dortmund for games at that point. So that's just ridiculous.
So
That's
why bring that
bullshit.
up in the investigation, I guess?
Yeah, that's just bullshit. That's
Just
I don't
pushing
even
the
know why
narrative, I
that's
guess?
in there. Yeah, it's bullshit. He's pushing.
Greg said
me
he's
in there.
injured, so we're concerned of his fitness, I guess. I don't know.
He's just backing up the bullshit. That's all that is. Okay, let's go to. Guys want to go through the roster real quick for the Nations League,
Yeah.
or you got time for that 29? I mean, Brett and I can do that by ourselves, but
I'm right here with you, man. I did tell Tack about a month ago that Taylor Booth was going to be on the roster.
hell yeah, he is. He is on the roster.
That's
I had
my
a
guy.
fun conversation with our good friend Larry, and Larry was saying that Booth was added to the roster in spite of Haji, Wright, and Peacock. And I'm like, they don't play the same position.
They don't play the same fucking.
You know,
position.
I have heard that for this camp they will use a 4-2-3-1 and kind of like rotate Taylor.
We're gonna have to. We don't have a six.
They're
From
gonna
your
ro- they're-
lips to
they're
God's
gonna-
ears, please.
We don't have a six. It has
They're
to.
gonna rotate Gio and Taylor in that 10 position and see what can happen. That's what I've heard. I don't know about
Taylor
things
kind of
from-
played that 10 type of role, I guess. The last time, the last game Cupcake he was a part of, it
And-
wasn't
and-
exactly a 10, but it was more or less. He played like a 10.
So Weston and Musa double pivot, and then with Taylor, Gio up there. But go ahead with the roster.
No,
That's
that's great.
great.
That hurt.
Man, I hope you're right.
That's
Hurts
what
having
right.
Weston back so far though, because you lose his offensive prowess, and that's one of his.
Yeah,
biggest
but you
perks.
also have to give that central area to Gio or Taylor though, because that's
Sure.
what it
No, I agree. Yeah,
So-
we definitely need that creative mind in there. Yeah.
Although Taylor has been fantastic as a right winger.
He is, but he works best centrally. He's just really so good. He's so good on the ball. He's just so good. He's magic.
Only 34 likes, guys. Come on.
34 likes?
Come on.
Jesus, that's limp.
Thanks for the 199 there, Al.
Let's pump it up to 50. Let's pump it to like 80.
Pump it up.
For
It'll
Christ's
get up
sake.
there. They always get up there.
Okay.
The likes always show.
I mean, listen, I understand the whole playing booth in CAM, but I really have liked him if we're going to play a 4-2-3-1 as a right winger. I understand Weah's there. I understand we have got depth
you have Weah there, and Weah is just solidified as your right wing so far, and he hasn't done anything to lose that spot. So
He could play as a right or left wing back.
I don't think we're going to see a stellar starting lineup versus Grenada. I think we're going to rest some guys. I don't think Pulisic starting versus Grenada. I don't think we're going to see the kind of starting lineup you think we're going to see, or people are going to think we're going to see.
I think Hudson will experiment with the Grenada game because it doesn't matter who he's out there, he's going to win, and then he's going to go to his roots, 4-3-3.
Somebody showed a highlight reel of a friendly that occurred at Grenada recently, and I'm watching them play on this field, and that was waterlogged. It was raining, of course, but I'm watching this field, and I'm like, man, I've seen better looking indoor soccer fields in Indiana back in 1992 when it was just spray painted concrete. So it's not going to be the world's best field to play on.
That's why you're going to see Dike probably start up front because they're going to need to lift the ball into the air.
Yeah.
Although you can see Pepe. Pepe's fine as a center forward. If you need to get him aerial, he'll do that too. So, yeah.
So I guess let's run down the list of who we got, and then we can go over a couple of potential snubs.
All right, Horvath, Stefan Turner, that's just chalk.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is for the time being, yeah.
And by the way, Stefan didn't get to start for Arsenal today in their...
I mean Horvath.
No, that's
Turner.
Turner.
Sorry.
Turner did not get to start for Arsenal.
They got eliminated off a mistake from Ramsdale, so...
Yes, they did. A half-field blaster over his head.
Two of those PKs, he had hands on him, and he let him go. So Turner would have...
I think Turner's a better PK stopper.
He had hands on the PKs, and they just bended his finger, bro.
Yeah. No, that half-field goal by...
That was embarrassing.
That was embarrassing. It
really
was.
That was bad.
And I don't know why you don't let fucking Turner... I know Turner didn't have the bestest of games, the last game he played in this tournament, but... This is not a really important game for Arsenal. Just let Turner play it. It's not that important. It doesn't even matter if you win this. It doesn't mean anything. All right. Well,
because the only thing winning Europa does is gives you Champions League, but you're already going to be in the Champions League anyways.
You're already there. Yeah, you're second in the Premier League or first.
You're first. Like, yeah. I don't. Maybe they wanted some silverware, but it's like you don't even want that silverware. You really just don't. You really don't. So.
I don't think anybody got duped out of position at goalkeeper, so let's move to defenders and start at left back. There's only one, and that's Anthony Robinson.
One and a half.
No, there's two. There's Tim Weah.
That's good. There you go. We have 2.5 now. Yeah.
We got opportunity as a backup there if we really get desperate. But of course, most of us want to see a new.
Honestly, maybe that's the reason there's only one, because he might experiment with Tim Weah there against Granada, and then play Taylor at right.
We've got 3 right backs is the problem. So clearly, he's utilizing the Berhalter experiment of Dest or Scally as a left back,
or Tim, so Taylor can get his spot up top.
Well, then I wouldn't have brought 3 right backs if that were the case.
Yeah, I think one of these right backs is not going to get much playing time, and
his name rhymes with Reynolds.
Yes, it's probably Brian Reynolds. Yeah, because you're going to see Dest for the major game versus El Salvador. In the game before, you're probably going to see Scally would be my guess.
Yeah, Scally against Granada is dope. It's good.
Yeah, And then, you could experiment with Scally out left if you want to, but I think Anthony Robinson's pretty much our guy at left back.
But you also don't want to play Anthony Robinson 2 games when one of them is so meaningless.
I agree. So we're gonna have to. There's gonna be some mixing up.
That's why I'm saying don't be surprised if he says, you know what, let me put Tim out there and let me put Taylor Booth right wing against Granada.
I think it's more likely to be Scally at left and then Dest on the right for Grenada, just because Scally can do it. I don't know. And then we'll see, as you said, the real team, the real starting 11 for versus El Salvador. Yeah. Center backs was weird because we're missing CCV and we're missing No Zimmerman.
No Zimmerman there's no problem with No Zimmerman.
I know, and no Long. No problem with that either.
But they'll be there in April.
No Chris Richards.
Chris Richards has played like 7 minutes in the last 4 games or something.
So I guess since we're talking about center backs, the big question as far as possible snubs are concerned.
It's Cameron.
So Brian's got it covered here. He says, per USSF or U.S. Men's National Team, Cameron Carter-Vickers is out with a recovering / injury. So whether he still has the injury or he's recovering, has a knee injury. Richards has a back injury. Sargent has an ankle, which of course we're knowing that Sargent's playing. So it's just a recovery status. And he does talk about the rotation between these camps coming up. So we very well likely will see these players come in. But
Hudson talked about it too. Yeah. And Hudson also talked about the varying degrees of levels and skill between certain leagues, which was kind of weird because he was making it out like, okay, like I can really tell the difference between the top 5 leagues and Belgium and Scotland and MLS and it was like, whoa, dude.
I think Berhalter's been holding him back this entire time.
What are you saying here, buddy? Because he didn't say anything to get him in trouble, but because he didn't say what level each one was, but he was saying there was definitely a difference between England's Premier League, the Championship, Scotland, Belgium, Holland. He said there's a big difference between these places. So there you go. As far as pressure, overall playing style,
What's the name of this annual competition that's occurring in April between the Americas called? And it's like the first one, the inaugural one is going to be between Mexico and the United States. I'm like,
it's the Americas. Fuck.
So it's an annual one, which means that we play 1 game a year. Is that the idea for this competition? Why are we playing Mexico to begin with?
I don't know what this is.
So there's an annual competition that's just got started with all the Americas. So it's North, Central, and South America.
This is club or country?
Country. And the U.S. are playing Mexico in the first match of this annual competition in April. During the April friendly.
What's it like?
Adam, we talked about this in the Twitter. The He Believes Cup.
Oh my God. The
Continental
Classico.
Shout out John Reach.
Ken P had the Classico out before, but
sponsored by Owl State.
Owl State.
Owl State's actually a shitty company.
You know what? Most companies are shitty, by the way, when they're that big. So we won't get into that. Let's go to so some people left out. That's fine. But we are going to get maybe to see some minutes from Trusty and Mark McKenzie. That's nice. And Hudson did mention, hey, there's some guys we need to see. Some guys we already know what they can do. There's some guys we need to see. This is a good time to do it. No, go ahead, Diego.
No, but who in this roster do you need to see?
No, he said
besides Trusty, I guess, because he's the only new player there, and Booth. But you know what you get with Booth; he's a star. So I'm just confused who you.
I guess to see where Robinson's returned from his injury.
Okay.
I mean,
I like Miles Robinson.
And we haven't really got to see a lot of Mark McKenzie and Austin Trusty on the national team.
Someone asked me about Eric Palmer Brown the other day, and I'm just like, man,
he's just not having a good one. Yeah.
He's not in the plans, man. There's just so much. There's so much talent coming out the center back position.
And his team started off fast, but they have faded.
Dude, they're like he's about to be relegated.
They are in relegation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are in the bottom 3.
So no EPB.
Yeah, no, he's not had a good season.
He might play in the B team. this summer.
We also have three other players playing for a relegation-based team, and
yes, we do.
But listen, we can talk about that when we get. We'll throw that in. We'll throw that in as a wild card. We'll throw that in.
Yeah, got that.
Yeah, including, and we'll get to the midfielders, Brendan Aronson, Weston McKenzie, and well, of course, Adams doesn't make it because he's injured. So if you want to talk about that, go ahead, go for it.
He definitely was on the roster, like that was confirmed. But I guess that injury came out literally that day.
Do you know who got included over top of him, or did they not include him? But since
Johnny Cardosa came in.
Gotcha.
Yes.
That was confirmed by one of my friends who's in this camp. So
who else, Brett? Nobody else
Sonora.
can play that position.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying as far as fringe players that probably.
Oh yeah, no, because Kellen's not a part of this team, right?
No,
Kellen.
The only MLS player is Robinson.
Kellen would have been the only player that could kind of play 6, like realistically.
And
the only
again,
position he should play in the midfield. Yes.
Yeah.
And again, using Hudson's words, there are some guys that we just need to see, and I think that's why we're seeing some guys we haven't seen, like McKenzie, like Trusty, like although I think he's earned it. I think that Johnny's earned it. He's earned it. So
he plays well in Brazil. He plays well in Brazil, from what I hear.
He sure does. Yeah. Tac's a big fan of his.
That's just him and Tac are like family. That's why.
But to your point that you made earlier, as far as playing the 4-2-3-1, I mean, there literally is nobody on here that could make that the equal replacement for Adams in that situation.
Because Luca can't play it.
Nope.
Taylor can't play it.
Nope.
Weston's played it at Juve, but he's not good at it.
Yep. But they're going to do it anyhow. But because you can't even even if you play a 4-3-3, you still need a defensive minded midfielder in there. You're better off playing a 4-2-3-1 because at least you have 2 midfielders right there. So I think we might see Johnny Cardosa paired with maybe McKenzie or somebody like that.
I keep saying Cardosa.
I personally think Weston will probably not play against Granada. I don't think Weston will play against Granada.
Okay.
I think
fair enough.
If Johnny's the only 6 that you have, I think Johnny and Eunice
could be Luca.
You can do all 3. Well, you can do all 3 if you want to. Actually. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you play Gio and Wes with whoever the fuck you're gonna throw in Musa against Salvador.
People kept saying Tillman. Tillman's injured, folks. Not here.
Yeah. He was on the Brian post as injured as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So no Costa, no Adams hurt, and no Tillman. Alan Sonora, he'll probably get some playing time versus Grenada, but other than that, I don't think he's going to see much.
Alan Sonora he's a lesser version. He's like a B version of like Luca de la Torre.
Yeah. And he and his brother now play at Juarez in Mexico, which is interesting. They were both looking for clubs in MLS, and they both ended up at Juarez.
That money.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, it's got to be money.
That money.
But Alan's still getting a lot more playing time.
I heard Sonora after that cupcake game. He was LA Galaxy was talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
and they weren't.
I think Toronto was interested in him as well.
Yeah, they were trying not to let him leave LA without having a signature, but I guess money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his brother Joel has not really seen the field since they got to Juarez, but Alan has. So I think Joel's kind of way out of the picture at this point. Forwards, Taylor Booth, we already talked about. Awesome. Daryl Dike, an interesting inclusion because Daryl Dike has been scoring all over the place. He scored this week.
Recently,
yeah. So let's see him do it again. I imagine he'll get the start against Grenada, and then we'll see Pepe with the starters versus El Salvador.
Hey, did you put off Sendeja's name on this roster?
No.
Wow. No, it's right here. Sorry.
It's on here.
I had to scroll down.
So I'm saying, you cut it off.
I was going to say, wait a second. He's on here. What the
No, I know he's on there. I'm saying you cut him off.
That was big news. How's that going to be embraced in Mexico, Diego?
I've known Alex through Weston for a while. He's from Dallas, played with Weston here. So I definitely texted him during this, and I said, I know you'll make the right decision. Man, he did. And I will be very honest with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone around Alejandro thought he was going to choose Mexico. He plays there. He lives there. He's loved by Mexican fans. He's embraced by Mexico City, which is the biggest city in Mexico. Everyone around him, even friends or just friends of friends, thought he was going to pick Mexico. That conversation with Diego Coca, I think that's his name, the Mexican coach, or whatever his name is, something Coca, whatever.
Mhm.
Don't know too much about him. Didn't go as well as expected. He wasn't promised what he thought he would be promised on a weaker Mexican side. If it was a stacked Mexican side, he would understand. But he feels this current Mexican side, he's an automatic call up every time, and that conversation just didn't go like that. And I know U.S. fans on Twitter they're not fully sold on Zendejas. They're like, well, he's not an automatic first player. He's there though. He's there for a reason.
Yeah.
They think he is. They think Zendejas is a first team player already. Just because he doesn't play in Europe doesn't mean anything. They think he's already a first team player. Where Mexico kind of was like, we want you a part of our program, but we just don't think you're there yet to be automatically considered for starting 11 or always on the roster for first team. Where the U.S. men's national team said, no, we have you in our plans for a first team player, like first team. So
I think depending on how you set up too, Zendejas.
Yeah, because I think our coach is going to play 3-5-2.
I mean, if you set up in a way, then you need to use Zendejas. So he's versatile in a way where you can use him in different ways. And then, he's definitely going to be a contributor. He's a definitely off the bench guy in a standard 4-3-3.
And we think even if he doesn't, because right now, listen, realistically for Mexico, you cannot start over Santi Jimenez because he's on fire, and you can't start over Irvin Lozano because that's our best player. But off the bench, he would be our first option.
I'll come back to Chris.
I think he's better than Jimenez right now, just coming off the bench.
BMR has you covered here.
And
so,
why
would go ahead, Derek?
Why would you play Zendejas when you can play Lainez? Because, I see the laughing part at the end of that.
Diego Lainez, man, he had a terrible outing last night against Orlando City. It was terrible. So,
yeah, he's really had a rough go in general.
Yeah, and here's again, they preference Diego Lainez over Alejandro Zendejas, and Zendejas believes he's better. And I think he is better.
Yeah, there was a point. There was a point in Lainez's career where you thought he was going somewhere, but boy, the air has come out of the balloon.
That time when he came onto the pitch and spun Reem around like a top. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, Chris Gary says it's great how you guys were talking about Zendejas for a year before everyone started talking about him again. Thank you, Chris. I'm glad you noticed. Yes, we have been talking about Zendejas forever. Yes.
I give you thumbs up for that because he is a great player, but he is a great kid too. He's a great guy. He's so nice.
He played, and the reason maybe is because we're older and we remember him playing in the youth teams.
Well, him and Christian, they were the guys.
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of people don't remember that.
Growing up, Alex was better than Weston. Like, Alex was the guy. Weston was kind of in the background and shit. Just careers take different turns and paths and shit. But Zendejas, when he was younger, man, playing for FC Dallas Academy, watching that up front row, he was a bad dude. Zendejas was a bad dude when he was young.
Yeah, and he unlike a lot of other sort of dual nats, really, and it took him time. He battled his way to be where he is now. It wasn't an easy road for him. He had to fight his fucking way into the starting lineup and become the player he is now. You see so many of these dual nats, they end up in the second division in Mexico and fade away. And that didn't happen to him. So give him props for that.
Chambers, I'll come back to your comment because he mentioned dual nats. I wanted to bring this one up real quick.
You guys remember Joshua Perez from those youth teams? Yeah. What happened?
Who's Joshua Perez?
He's an
El Salvador player.
Yeah, he went to Fiorentina. He was on a lot of the U.S. youth teams. He didn't work out there. He came back to the U.S. He ended up playing in the second division, I think USL, and now he plays for El Salvador. So there you go. All right. So, and then we got to mention the rest of these guys. We mentioned Weah, Zendejas. We got Gio Reyna. We've been talking about all night. Pulisic's there. That's obvious. So that's it. That's the lineup. I don't think there's no Morris. There's no Areola.
There's no MLS at all besides Robinson.
Well, that's because the story is that they're going to be there in April.
Yeah, they're going to do.
They rather let their MLS players settle in with their MLS teams.
Yeah, they're going to flip flop it. They're going to try to do the flippy floppy.
But regardless of the fact, I think Hudson would have still chose the same team even if he would have had his MLS players at disposal.
Maybe could have, yeah.
Besides Kellen, I think Kellen would have been there. Kellen would have been there because he's the only player that can play 6.
Well, based on his comments, Hudson, it sure seems like because he said, hey, we needed to make more. He said this, kind of what he said was, we need to do more of these trips to Europe, which he did say. We need to be watching the European players just as much as we're watching the MLS players. That's what he said. Nobody said that before. No one said that.
His meetings,
not during Greg's era.
His meetings with Wes and Tyler and Brendan were positive. From what I've known from the camp, he had great talks with Weston, like really good talks that they're okay. They do want a new coach because they want to move forward from the Greg situation. But if Hudson coached them in June, they wouldn't be so against it just because Hudson's actually making that effort that Greg didn't make.
Yeah. And it sounds
but they want a new coach for sure. But they're okay with Hudson. They're okay with him. They're okay with him.
It sounds like Hudson is basically was saying, and he was kind of curling back during the interview, because what he seemed to be saying is during the Greg era, there wasn't enough trips to Europe. There weren't enough eyeballs on the European players. And then he kind of walked it back a little, but you could already tell what he was saying.
You already said it. You already said it.
Yeah, you already let it out. You let the cat out of the bag. You can't put the cat back in.
And he met with Gio too. And I know about the Gio meeting through his agent. Like, he met with Gio, and it was a great talk. It was like Anthony is telling him straight up, like, listen, like, I understand things happen in Qatar, but we're not going to define your career by that. Like, those are your parents' mistakes. Let's just move forward.
Well, yeah, his comment to the press was basically the same thing in the sense that, hey, we settled the issue in Qatar in the locker room. We're all moving on.
Here's
in the locker room. It was fixed then and there when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So when you watch Hudson do an interview, I don't know if you have yet. I have. But I will say this. In comparison to Greg, I feel like this is a real human being who isn't super guarded, who isn't super mapped out. It doesn't have like this whole string of things.
Stuff.
He doesn't have alternative motives.
Right. He doesn't come in with like, here are the 6 things I want to say. He just takes the questions and answers them. And it's so fucking refreshing rather than seeing this super guarded person who's really trying to make sure you can't penetrate.
Greg's press conferences are scripted.
Yeah, and he wants to guard he's got his exoskeleton out, Greg. You know, it's never seems genuine. While this guy seems genuine, I'm not saying he's a great coach. I just like him as a person. Whereas Greg, I find it really hard to like Greg. Watching Greg talk is, to me, like watching my penis get fucking penetrated by a rod. It makes me want to curl up and go to bed. I don't want to listen to any more of it. It's just disgusting.
I've spoken to Greg in person whenever Juve came for their summer tour in the summer, and Juve played Barcelona. That was supposed to be Weston's homecoming, but Weston was hurt and he didn't play. We had a skybox at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And Greg was there with Weston, just watching. He was in town. So he went, and man, just talking to him is just like, I can see why there's so many people against him. Like, he's just so guarded. His energy is he's just a distant person. He just seems so closed down. I'm just like, you're with one of your main players' family. Like, at least be a little bit more like, you know.
Yeah, no, somebody discussed interpersonal energy is like a ball. Right.
That's what I'm saying. His energy is just so weird.
Yeah. So you can either have that ball tightly wound inside of you, or you can let it go and it can release itself and kind of, get out and affect people and become, not that he needs to be the fucking party in the room. He doesn't need to be that, but he needs to be a little less so guarded. He's such a guarded human being. Like maybe he never got over that incident in 1990, like whatever. He never got over that. He's now so super protective of himself and his emotions that he's not a human being almost. He is, don't get me wrong, he is, but he's like kind of an extraterrestrial sort of.
He's a closed out. He's closed out.
He's like an ultra German. That's what I would call him. An ultra German. He's like less open than Jurgen, and that is saying something because Jurgen Klinsmann is one of the more guarded managers we've ever had. He's like my grandfather, but worse. My grandfather, who's German, it was very emotionally guarded. Very emotionally guarded. So I feel like he's hiding something, and we found out he was hiding something. But he's
just weird. To me, he's just weird. My personal, he's just weird.
Yeah, I'm not for that as a personality because
not as a head coach in spotlight.
No.
I just be more.
Yeah. Look at Bruce Arena. Look how open he and funny he can be, and he's open and he's jovial, but he can be a nasty bitch too. That's all.
You can be a nasty bitch too, but at least be open.
Yeah, be a human fucking being.
Who was the former player that basically said that the Berhalter that we're seeing on interviews and pressers and stuff like that is not the Berhalter?
Was that Jones? Was that Jermaine Jones?
It was a former player.
It wasn't
Jones. Was it Ian Joy?
Ian Joy. Yeah.
He basically said like, he was a dick, and he was always an angry guy, blah blah blah. And the guy we're seeing now is so reserved and everything on the pressers. That's not who he is.
That's because
just be who you are.
He's sucked up the dick, right? So he doesn't want to reveal that he's a dick. But not only did Ian Joy call him a dick and say he was a dick, so did Jimmy Conrad. Said he was a dick to me. So you add it up. He's kind of a dick.
He gave a little context at it though too, but
I get it. He was a dick to me because we were competing for a position. But guess what? When I'm competing for a position to somebody who I might personally, I know we're fighting for a spot, but I don't personally dislike the person or treat him like a dick. I just know I'm better and I'm going to win out, but I'm still going to treat them like a fucking human being, not like a prick. And that's kind of, Greg was hiding the inner prick of himself. And that's what he was doing the whole time as the World Cup manager.
You could see it emerge at certain points. It's like, you use an example like when Hoppy came off. It was like, why the fuck did I get subbed off? And you saw it like bubble over at that point. Like,
yeah, but that was kind of a dickish thing for Hoppy to do.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So
all right.
quickly, jumping back to the Pulisic video that we did watch earlier. U.S. men's national team thoughts here says, okay, if you didn't think Christian Pulisic was advocating for Greg Berhalter to return in the clip released earlier, he literally said it in the extended interview. So take it for what it's worth. And he mentions how there's a 40-minute video that's going to get released tomorrow, I guess. And I'm guessing Pulisic says that he would like to see Berhalter back or something, I guess.
I'm sure he'd like to have anybody back at this point.
Maybe that could be it too. I mean,
let's get on with it. Let's get on with it.
Let's bring Berhalter back. I don't care, type of thing.
Listen,
I know. Listen, Christian can say what he wants on these interviews. He don't got the best relationship with him. He just doesn't. It is what it is. But
he also knows that even if he doesn't have the best relationship, he's still starting.
I don't think Christian cares who's coach because you know what? I mean, he cares, but he's like, I'm still Christian Pulisic. I'm still going to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think he can play this apolitical or political.
He's very political with his answers.
Yeah.
Very nonchalant.
Yeah. And be okay with it. Whereas some other players were like, man, why'd you say that? We don't want Greg back. There ain't going to be a Greg back. So whoever posted that doesn't really fucking matter.
Dude,
he's not coming
back.
Greg
is not coming back whatsoever. You have a better chance of winning the lottery.
Dude, there's too much stain. Too much stain. All right, I think we're done for the night. I don't think we have any more to say. And if we do, 2 hours and 15 minutes is enough to say it. And I think we said a lot tonight, by the way. And I want to thank Diego for coming on, Mr. 29. Maybe people are going to, I don't know, do you rather be remembered as 29? Because that's kind of cool. Because you're like, I'm agent 29.
29 is cool. 29 is cool. 29 is also the amount of points that Leeds is going to finish the season with, by the way.
Hopefully just barely above relegation, right?
29 ain't going to get it done.
No. We're good over there. If we can we get relegated, if they get relegated, I'm okay with it. And by me being okay with it means some other people might be okay with it too.
Well, we know Wes isn't bound by anything, but we know Adams will absolutely draw interest.
Listen, Wes has current offers from the Premier League if Leeds gets relegated. So,
yeah, I'm sure he does.
Mm-hmm.
So will Adams. I don't know about Aronson, but
Brendan might have to play Division 2 again.
He might have to bounce out of England. Period.
Or he might just go to Belgium. Just go to Holland, Germany.
He'll probably stay with Leeds if they go down.
Maybe he's loyal. But if they don't come back up, then he'll have to leave for sure.
Right.
He
No,
can't play
I
two
agree with
seasons
that.
like that.
But I mean, if Sargent can go down and keep playing, I think Aronson can too.
Yeah. And Brendan might be kind of being passed on the pecking order as it is, anyways. So
he might be, but new manager seems to keep playing him. So that's
no. I meant with the U.S. national team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's
more competition. There's more competition for him.
And his natural position is CAM, which we do not play.
Yeah, I mean, if you do play it, you have Taylor and Gio above you. So
yes, exactly. You're already pecking on the third, and if you're playing winger, you're also way down the pecking order.
Yeah,
at third or fourth. So
I think Zinda does a little bit more than Brendan right now.
Yeah. So I want to once again thank 29 for coming on. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your grandmother. And by the way, before we go out, I noticed when I was watching Sunderland versus Stoke City this weekend, there's a player on Stoke City, and I don't know if the announcers were doing this for fun, but his name is William Smallbone, and they were calling him Willie Smallbone every now and then and during the game. Willie Smallbone. Hey, 29, how would you like if your name was Willie Smallbone?
I'd love it. Love it.
And I think Willie likes it too. All right, until the next time on the Straight Red Card, we'll see you soon.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!